Sorry, I just have to pose for YouTube. Because it always uses as your YouTube starting slide, like the first screen image, I don't know what you would call it, of you from the live. And it's always me being like, it's so I try to now I try when I try to start it, I'm like, okay, where are you? Wait, I have to tell that I'm live. All right. It's a good shot of the Singapore Park Ferme. They always get fire pictures. What is this LED screen on the ground? It's kind of freaking me out. That is a great okay. Actually, Kelp, great name by the way. You're on to something. My dad wanted to name me Kelp, dead ass, or Lake, and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I would have fucked with Kelp. Regardless, I need to go watch. Yeah, it is like quite hot. I don't know. I think that they should race at good tracks. That is really my uh main takeaway. Wait, Ham, there you are. Uh, how are you? Hello. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. Oh, it wasn't the most. There was a good start. There's a good. Oh, when people complain about 2011, I'm like, um, okay, but yeah. Um, I would watch Sebastian Vettel win Monza 2008 9 times in a row before I would watch an exciting race where something bad happened to him. Um, I mean, but then it's like also, but like Brazil, it doesn't even come close to how I feel watching like a Brazil 2012 or whatever. So good races still are better. You know what I mean? When people are right, when people are like, you, when people are like, why do you still hate Mark Webber so much? Get over it. I'm like, you guys don't understand. I watch Brazil 2012 like once a week. So I'm constantly getting mad about this. Oh, I love that. That's so fun. Yeah, I should do that. It's Loki a really a banger. Even outside of if you go back and watch like 2008 7 through 10, Nico and because McLaren was like kind of in their flop era and Williams was on the ascendancy, slash Mercedes when he made that switch over. Um yes. But even when it wasn't yes. But even when it wasn't but even when it I will say, but even when they were in not their flop like the tail end of not their flop era, they were transitioning into the flop era. They were still good and like sort of competitive for the championship, but there were definitely race weekends where they were fucking nowhere. You know what I mean? And there are so many good Lewis and Nico battles from that time where they're like going back and forth. And I'm like, and they're both so happy about it. And I just watched that time and I'm like, oh no.
I mean,
they don't know what's about. I look at them and I'm like, they don't know what's about to happen.
It's Australia is the first Mercedes podium for
that one is crazy. And China 2012, Nico's first win is him, Lewis, and Jensen on the podium. I couldn't think of a better combo.
Like Lewis is so happy for Nico when he gets his first podium. Like he's so like you can't tell me that these guys were just teammates.
Yeah, they were never friends.
The podium room is still like we have the camera from the podium room,
but they actually weren't teammates at that point.
No, like this is like they were so Lewis was so happy for Nico.
No, it's actually so sweet.
Like, how the hell did we already get on a Mercedes tangent?
I'm looking for Lewis. I'm trying to find the last lap of Lewis's team radio. I believe I've acquired it. I've gotten there. Well, I want to get to like lap like 60. All right, there we go. Ham.
So what? Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. I was cooking burgers from like lap 59 to the checkered flag.
That was the only good part.
My understanding of what happened. So I saw Antonelli get by Charles, and I saw Charles let Lewis by. What the hell happened after that? How was Charles 12 seconds off the back of Kimi Antonelli?
Brake issues. So they like while Lewis is still catching, but like still kind of far away, even pre Kimi getting him, they're like, your rear brakes are gonna explode imminently. Like you know what I mean? Like they start freaking out about the brakes. He's lifting and coasting. He basically lets Kimi by. He lets Lewis by for that reason. His pace is obviously bad. I'm formulating conspiracy theories that there really are no brake issues. And this is just a way. I don't know. It wasn't like at that point it hadn't like but then he was like started dropping law. I was like, oh, maybe he does. But I was like, no, but I was like, I was like, they're just telling him there's brake issues so that he'll lift and coast. Because also, in order, so like they wouldn't have had to swap back because Lewis was so far ahead. Like you're not gonna slow down like 5 to 10 seconds to let someone back by. Like that's not how that works.
I was confused when it happened.
Right. So I'm like, I'm like in my kitchen forming the tinfoil into the hat. Like, I was like, there's not really brake shoes. Like, they're just telling him this. And then Lewis Hamilton's brakes stopped working. And so I was like, okay, and that's why I sort of slowly shoved the tinfoil aside.
So that's why Lewis went deep into what's that, turn 16, I think?
Yeah.
Okay. The one right before the pit, actually. Okay. I have a lot of thoughts on this race. Can we get my like pet deep annoyance out of the way first?
Sure.
Liam Lawson had a points finish if he pit on lap like 38 available to him, because he would have had a like 20 lap tire offset on most of these people and been like, and had to cut through like 2, 3, maybe at most 4 cars. Instead, he decides to go full DRS train, pray for a safety car, and then by the time he pits, he has to pit for like 8 people. Decision, horrible move. He should have pit when Stroll pit. If he pit when Stroll pit, he would have finished in the point. But racing bulls are bleeping morons who don't know shit from the hole in the ground. Unacceptably bad strategy from the RBs today. Just, you had a points finish. The strategy worked. You had Lawson being the cork in the bottle that was going to bring you into contention for the points. And you decided to not do anything with that fact because you're bad at this.
I have to be honest with you. If you asked me to tell you one single thing about Liam Lawson in relation to this race, I really would not have been able to do so. But you sound right.
This was pissing me off. Again, not a lot was happening at the front of this race.
Yeah.
So, like, and I was trying to figure out where Ollie was going to finish.
In my defense, I went to get a bagel in the middle of it, so.
Well, okay. My driver was at the top of it, but I was trying to figure out whether or not Meet the Press. I did spend a good 15 minutes trying to figure out if Meet the Press was going to have some polling on the shutdown today. So that was where my head was for like 10 minutes. Also, do you know there's a terrible football game on right now?
Wait, right now? Where? Is it a London game or something?
Yes, it is a London game. The Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns.
Why would they visit such a horror upon the people of London? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'm like, are they?
It's also the Carson Wentz Vikings. It's the backup.
The name Carson Wentz in the big year 2025 is crazy. If you had asked me,
I just randomly start cackling or like whatever, I'm just making fun of.
Yeah, to be honest with you, the Minnesota Vikings is not an entity I spend any considerable amount of thought upon. The Browns, it feels like sending the Browns to England is like almost worse than what Russia's doing with the drones right now. If I'm honest.
I mean, was it any better? Is it any better that Tony Khan sends the Jags like 2 weeks a year? Every year?
But I respect him though, because he's like, I want to move to London. Which, if I lived in Jacksonville, Florida, I too would want to move to London. I kind of want to move to London now, but unfortunately, they don't pay you money to do jobs there.
Okay, so we should. Okay, we're kind of doing this. I have like a grand unified theory of McLaren that I'm kind of.
Wait. Can we finish Ferrari before we do McLaren? Because I just want to say, I called Charles a loser in my video today, and I feel like I'm gonna get canceled for it, but I stand up. To have that happen last week and to let him buy again. Sebastian Vettel would literally never. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, you're not wrong, but like.
Whatever. It doesn't even matter in the end, but like, I don't know. I feel like these things do like kind of like, okay, for example.
Well, so here's the question, and this actually is a great tie-in to the McLaren. Do we think that it like banks him goodwill for when it really matters? Or
have you been paying attention to Ferrari for the last 10 years? You think he's gonna get goodwill? Are you on drugs? Like, they don't.
CJ, I'm a writer. I was doing a bit. I was trying to do a segue.
Okay, well, I was responding to your bit, JK. I was getting triggered by events of the recent past.
Or has this merely set a precedent that you can get stomped all over and quote unquote fairness gets tossed out the window when when daddy's favorite feels like chucking you into a wall on turn one, aka the Oscar Piastri story of why you shouldn't have fucking swapped back in Monza.
Literally.
You see, that's a segue.
That was a great segue.
Harrison.
That was and also, it's just like to do this against Lewis, I'm like banging my head against the wall because I've like Lewis is so good at this. Like, and he's also enough better. Like, Charles could do this with and fly into the glass window over and over again with Carlos because Carlos isn't that good. Lewis is pretty good at Formula One, I would say. So you're gonna get your shit wrecked when it comes to like actually important. And the worst part is you're gonna be faster and you're just, whatever. The Charles had an amazing start though. I just want to say that. Iconic.
Unfortunately, I do have to say, so it really seemed like so there was a who. Okay, can we talk? Okay, I guess we're just starting here. Whatever nonsense from Ted, I love you, Ted Kravitz. You are an incredible man. Whatever, this is going to need the start of your life, George Russell. the rain actually is helping the dirty side of the grid because it's washed away the grip advantage.
Yeah, they're just trying to.
Who had terrible starts? Max.
Everyone on that side of the grid.
Max, Kimi, and Lewis.
No, they're just trying to.
And George, Lando, and Charles all had amazing starts.
Right. They're just trying to gin up a little excitement. No, the rain objectively makes it.
Actually, the rain was a good thing. Get out of here.
No, that's actually.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, that's giving.
Fakest things that Sky has ever said. That's a high bar.
Well, that start was iconic. I was proud of Lando.
Oh, that was so. I don't know that it's possible he's gained more like raw places on the start before, but like in terms of
and especially for Lando, yeah.
So I'm gonna okay. I guess I'm just gonna be nice to Lando at first. This was a champion's drive from Lando.
Yeah, it was, and that's maybe the first time I can ever say Zandvoort. I guess maybe, but
yeah.
No, but this was like.
This was a statement.
Yeah.
This was had a difficult Saturday, but I still gained points, chipped away, and now, let's see if we can build on this. These are momentum drivers, very much. Both McLarens are very momentum drivers. Maybe you feel like you've got maybe this can be something you can build on. I doubt it.
Okay, but
I fundamentally think Lando is
enough. No.
This was the kind of drive Lando needed, and like 2 places at the start. Like there were excluding the Ferrari stuff at the end, because frankly that was all like brake stuff that wasn't like the car wasn't working.
Yeah.
Were there any non-lap 1 overtakes in the top 10?
Not that I can recall, if I'm honest.
So apparently Fernando at some point had to pass Behrman, I guess.
And Aston Martin and a Haas. Hold on to your hats.
For 8th. But like this is the point I'm making. I think the top 7, with the exception of whatever bullshit happened at the end vis-a-vis Antonelli, and with Kimi and then the Ferraris, which was again led by.
That was just
She was not any actual skill. No offense to Kimi, I love Kimi, but the top 7 did not have a single on-track overtake after lap 1. Max never took overtook George. Lando never overtook Max, and there was never anything involving Lando or Oscar or Charles before the brake issues. Nothing.
Right.
Like that was it.
It's almost like street tracks suck.
Potentially.
Monaco, you can stay for the VODs. The rest of them, you're out. I would actually keep.
Yeah, but it's great. It's great that they're finally getting rid of Barcelona. When they finally fixed Barcelona, now they're getting rid of it. They're turning it into a rotation with Spa, so that we can shove a street track in Madrid.
I thought it was a Spa Zandvoort rotation.
No, Zandvoort's off after next year, completely.
Oh, damn.
No, it's Zandvoort Barcelona, or it's Spa Barcelona. Spa. So 27 will be Spa. 28 will be Barcelona. Look, if they want to bring in, if they actually want to put Kyle Lamy on the track, if they want to bring back Malaysia, that's fine.
Malaysia, hell yeah.
But
I think that
I swear to God, if they try to shove in a 4th American race, that's when I will officially riot.
Malaysia, I think might be a problem though, because they're civil war. I mean, they've always been in a civil war, but it's getting pretty bad. I can't.
Are you positive that you aren't doing the thing again where you are conflating Malaysia and Mia?
I am doing it again. I'm so sorry. But I do apologize.
Favorite bit of yours.
It's so bad. This is worse than the time that when I couldn't stop confusing the Netherlands and Denmark. It was bad. That and the Baltics and Balkans. Okay. In my defense, come on. That one is so close. Like Baltics and Balkans, that shouldn't have been allowed to happen. We should have just made it something a little bit different in English because every time I screw that up, which is a lot, I look into the camera. I'm like, come on, bro. Again, my sincerest apologies to the people of Malaysia. But I also, yeah, I feel like Korea, like there are other Fuji is the answer, but also
they want Thailand. So Thailand wants to race.
build a good track. Build a good track. I will become the #1 Thailand lover in the world. I will wear a t-shirt that says I love Thailand every day of my life if you just recreate Interlagos.
No, I think they want a street tracks for Bangkok. I believe. I could be wrong about that.
Well, now I'm gonna have to hate it and I get called racist every single time. I could have been on the tourism board of Thailand and they ruined it.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. It would actually give Alex Albon a proper home race.
If it's another street track through a city that sucks, fuck Alex Albon, fuck street tracks, fuck Stefano Domenicali, and fuck Alex Albon. I'm sorry.
You love Alex.
I do love Alex, but I don't love anything as much as I hate the street tracks. I will say, okay, this is an interesting hypothetical for myself. All right. The calendar gets changed to just like 25 street tracks. Like it's all Miami all the time. They cut Brazil, they cut Silverstone. But
does Canada survive in the situation?
Yeah. But
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay, fine. Canada's gone. You're out. And they replace it with a Toronto street track, the one they use for Formula E. And
weirdly the Indy track isn't that bad in Toronto, I will say. But I think that's because the Indy
I was gonna say you haven't seen F1 cars drive around it.
Yeah.
And they're more nimble, I feel.
For sure.
But Sebastian Vettel comes back and wins a world championship. But the calendar has to be like that. Like the calendar is still gonna be like that. It's not gonna magically go back to normal after that happens. So basically, like ruin F1 forever for one more sub championship. But like, would the championship matter if F1 was ruined? To me, not it would matter in general, but to me,
no, because the thing is that this is like too much of it. Like you just enjoy having the 25 weeks a year to do this. I think.
Yeah.
I think if it's that, and then Seb becomes team principal of Ferrari, then you would say yes, because then you would have faith that Seb could fix Ferrari.
I would pretend to have faith, but I don't have faith that anybody can fix Ferrari, especially Seb, because he believes in the bullshit.
Yeah, but he also knows where. Yeah, okay, but like
that's like putting a crackhead in charge of. That's like putting a crackhead in charge of the FBI, which is coincidentally what we've done.
Did you see Kash Patel got baited on a fake NHL tweet this week from the official FBI director account?
No, I didn't see that. Great. That's awesome. I think it's going so well in America. We're doing great. I love the government. On the FBI director. What was the tweet? Why does the
FBI director not have a personal Twitter account he used for like Islanders related things?
Probably because you're the fucking director of the FBI. Get back to work. What are you doing on Twitter? I say this as a Twitter lover. Wait, what was the tweet?
Oh, it was like the #1 pick in this year's draft has already agreed a handshake deal for when his entry level contract's up. Kash Patel liked and retweeted it.
What? We are so cooked. We are so cooked. Anyway, back to the race.
So can I give?
I'm gonna think about that for the rest of the day.
Can I give my grand unified theory of McLaren now?
Yes.
This team operationally is not ready for any amount of scrutiny, and it's very obvious because they are running around like chickens with our heads cut off at every opportunity, and there is no plan, no scheme, no any of this. And what was obvious to me, to you, to everybody with a brain, the second they did what they did in Monza, was that was going to make bigger problems for them down the line. Because now you are going to set a precedent that you are not willing to meet. And guess what? Lando, I personally don't have a problem with what Lando did.
I like it.
I think Lando, because the thing is, like, the back end of the car moves, right? And then to correct that, he has to move the front.
Yeah.
I don't think he did like a Max
No.
Spain style, like, just try and like run you off the road sort of thing.
What does Lando have to benefit from that in that situation? You know what I mean? Like nothing.
Maybe he crashes Oscar out of the race.
Right, but also maybe he crashes him out of the race. And I like that from that to me for the first time all season. I saw that Lando wanted to win. And I haven't seen that from either of them. I think that they've both been like, I'm like, you guys are both just like trying not to lose and in the process like having a flop off. That to me was Lando being like, he could have settled in behind Oscar, but him going for it in that moment was the first like seminal moment that we've seen from Lando that's positive. Like that actually is like, all right, like, you know, like you did something.
That was a very real thing for
I will say, if that had been Oscar, they would have pitted him for a new front wing. Thoughts?
And this is the problem: is that by setting this unreasonable standard of like, well, we need everything to be fair. It's like, well, I believe that Lando did nothing wrong, but I also understand why if you're Oscar, because it does look pretty bad on like from Oscar's onboard.
Yeah, it's almost like Oscar that it wasn't actually about fairness and that they're just trying to advantage Lando over you, grow a spine, and don't let him back by in Monza, pussy.
This is the point. Like, this is the thing, is that nobody in this team, from the drivers to Zach to Andrea to the pit crew, because by the by, if Oscar gets a 3-second stop, he's right on Lando's ass and maybe passes him, right?
Yeah.
Or at the very least, that changes how Lando has to drive. And it's just like nobody on this team, like the engineers clearly built a fast car. Nobody else on this team seems to know what they're doing. Because, by the way, this is a high downforce track. You should have won the race.
No, it's okay. Here's the thing. Well, yeah.
This race handily, with where the McLaren has been fastest this year, it should have been a race that you excelled at. You couldn't get the setup right all weekend. Now you're here. Your race ops is a joke. You don't know what you're doing. This is like 5 or 6 races in a row where one of your 2 drivers has had a bad stop.
No, I do think they're
shit together.
I think their picker is going through it right now, but I disagree with you ops wise. I think that's just an excuse for the fact that neither driver is really there, and I don't think the whole papaya rules thing is some great mystery. They're like, everyone's like, oh, it's supposed to be about fairness, but X, Y, and Z. It's just because they're just saying that's just bullshit that they're spewing, and they very clearly would prefer for Lando to be their champion, presumably because of all of the background and context that we have to also support that point. Like, it's not some great
great week for that conspiracy as Alex Dunn leaves the McLaren driver program.
Right.
Because
It's not some great mystery. It's just that's just they're lying and making shit up to justify them helping Lando. That's very clearly what's happening. And like no hate, no shade to Oscar, but like that's kind of how it goes. You know what I mean? Like, and you want to know why they're doing that? Is because Adam Norris, who's a massive McLaren investor, by the by, that's how Lando got his spot in the McLaren. That is because Adam Norris, who's a massive McLaren investor, by the by, that's how Lando got his spot in the McLaren driver program. But Max has privilege because his dad is an F1 driver. Like that's like Bill Gates's daughter going to like the queen of like the British aristocracy and being like, you're so privileged. Like, yeah, but also they but it's just they just want it. I'm sure Adam Norris is in Zach Brown's ear. And so if you're Oscar, but like if you're Oscar, if you are ahead of him on the track, there is nothing that they can do. They're not going to take out an RPG and fucking blast you away, right? If and also if he doesn't listen to them last week, it makes them not want to push again because it's embarrassing and shambolic and like a bad look for the team. You know what I mean? But I don't think they're incompetent. I think they just don't want to help Oscar.
okay, but like then
The pit stops are a problem, though. I will say. I don't.
But then like okay, but if that's the policy, and like that's what this is.
Well, I think it's Zach Brown's policy. I think Andrea Stella probably has a slightly different worldview, and I think that that's where you see kind of some of the mixed messages coming in. But I also think that their pit stop people are just struggling. Like I think that that's an unrelated issue.
Yeah, I think the pit crew is kind of just like I don't know what's going on there, but it's just like but like Lando, why is Lando being offered? You know, can we let Oscar undercut you so he can fight Leclerc?
Right, like they're asking his fucking permission.
Make that decision.
They're not them.
Tell Lando his ass is going in the pits.
Not them asking permission. Like exactly. Have they ever asked Oscar when they bailed Lando out in Hungary and let him undercut him? Did they ask Oscar's permission? No. So
in Monza, you know, like Lando is dictating that he wants the extra lap out because like you know, he wants the extra lap out because he wants because if there was a safety car in that lap, he doesn't want to lose it to Oscar. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but like you are McLaren, you can just decide these things, and you can decide these things in Lando's favor. That's not even the argument I'm making per se, but like you're making yourself look like incompetent chuckle fucks for no clear discernible reason and no clear discernible purpose, when it's just like you could just make a series of decisions that would be pro Lando.
No, I do think that's an interesting
without making yourselves look like a bunch of school children on the radio.
Yeah, they have always been a little extra over the radio. I will say, that's a good point that Rossio maybe or Rocco. A lot of teams are struggling with it. I do think that there has been a general decline in strategy this year, and I think it's because they massively switched up the tires. Like there's something weird going on with the tires this year.
Well, it's that Pirelli, like it's that these tires don't degrade ever, and so.
But the soft ones degrade in 3 corners.
Well, yeah, when you're trying to do like a real lap, yes.
Yeah. And like never in my life have I seen them qualifying on mediums because they think they're faster. Like when has that ever happened before? Like rarely.
Because the C6 tire is so bad it's unusable, basically.
Right, but then once you get to the mid-range, you, like, don't have to pit it they need to make all of them worse. I think I used to kind of push back against that because I'm like, "Oh, it's, like, artificial chaos." Like, I remember the days of, like, 4 pit stops and it was annoying. Make them do 3 pit stops again.
Okay, but the problem is that you need to do it in a way because, like,
The thing is, when
the Monaco 2 stop,
the problem is
Monaco was somehow worse this year than last year.
yeah, the thing is when you right, because it doesn't work. The problem with that now is the reason why it used to work is because when you mix up the grid like that through pit stops, it forces racing because people have to like get back like sort themselves back out to where they belong. But now that we go to these tracks, like half of the tracks on the calendar, you literally can't overtake on. All it's going to do is be like false jeopardy if that makes sense.
Right. And like, the game that Racing Bulls played, the game that Williams played, like, you know, like it was more advantageous for George Russell to take a drive through
Yeah.
than it would have been
To pit.
yeah, than it would have been to stay behind Alex Albon.
Yeah, we are
He took a drive through and stayed ahead of Albon.
right. We are truly in um dark times when it comes to like the racing of it all. Also, I'm very against
Hope to God, because the thing is, there's
it's
2.5 good circuits left on the calendar.
it's not going to work because the circuits are bad. The regs aren't going to work because the circuits are bad and because they're like, "Oh, we're making the small car smaller." It's a centimeter smaller. The cars need to be a lot smaller. Like Sebastian Vettel used to like I have it so vividly in my memory. There's this clip of him and Mark like low-key fighting in Parc Ferme and they're like going back and forth at each other like two cats hissing at each other in the rain and Seb like leans on the back wing of the rear wing of his car and the whole car shifts like that. Sebastian Vettel is not a large man. The fact that they used to be able to move the car with their body weight is crazy. And the problem is, you want to know what the problem is? It's the hybrid engine. It's too heavy and it's too big and it makes the cars large and heavy um and it's also actively worse for the environment than if they just used regular engines because the whole
I'm not arguing with you about like, the environmental costs of mining the stuff for electrical for non gas powered engines, but I will say
it's because they're not using that much gas and the thing
from a pure racing standpoint, the 2012 cars with the halo and whatever other safety shit you need is probably something close to optimal.
yeah, agree.
And also, like, maybe if they actually needed it, maybe they would actually get their shit together on a sustainable fuel initiative.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like, I'm not anti electric car. I'm anti.
Yes, you are.
I think it has some great uses that will vastly reduce emissions in like every city bus in the world should be electrified. Like I believe in all of that. I think that if it makes sense for your lifestyle, if you drive a lot, like it makes total sense to get an electric car. My thing is they're driving 2 miles with these cars. Like they're basically it would be like if my mom bought an electric car, drove to work and back, and then took the engine and threw it away. Like that's essentially how far they're going. Like the and they're not consuming that much fuel within the period of time that they're using these engines to like make the environmental offset, which is not like a perfect apples to apples comparison, but still to make that offset worth it at all. Like it's crazy. And they're like, slay, eco girl boss. And they're like, well, we're doing research on hybrid engines. I'm like, oh yeah, because no government in the world is funding electric engine research right now. Well, thank you for filling this void in funding, please.
I will say, like maybe Petronas would actually really get off their asses and actually figure out a sustainable fuel initiative if like if they could be the official supplier of Formula One in sustainable fuel. I'm just saying.
Not a bad suggestion. And also it's like
the number of points left in the season. 150 plus. Are there 3 sprint races left or 2? Austin,
I don't know.
3 left, so that's 24. 174 points left. For one driver can get 174 points if they win everything.
But I also think part of the issue with the dirty air is how heavy the cars are. And you know what's really heavy? Batteries.
Yeah. What his max to win it, I mean, he now needs like at least 1 double DNF and probably 2 Oscar DNFs, but I mean, this was a good. This was a weekend, a survivable weekend for Oscar.
Yeah, I think McLaren did overall. They did what they needed to do this weekend. Both of them.
They needed to do today, but like, the thing is that we were looking at this and going, this is their best track left. Because
I can't wait for Brazil.
This is the highest downforce they've got till Qatar.
We're in Brazil season now, where every race I'm like 1 race closer to my Christmas.
I mean, Coda's pretty damn nice too.
Yeah, Coda is nice too, but she's not the love of my life, Interlagos.
The Lommel. I can't believe Taylor Swift really got away with calling a song with doing a song called The Lommel.
I love that song.
That is not the point. I like the thing about McLaren, and like I agree with you that it might be a bias thing, like totally. That they just want Lando to win because he's been there. It's better for the driver program. Whatever.
I feel like that is just a much more reasonable action. I mean, it explains all of their actions much more satisfactorily than the papaya rules. But also remember when Lando was like, "There's no papaya rules."
Yeah. Like
what was that about?
But I don't think they want Lando to win and their incompetent chuckle fucks. Are 2 theories that actually,
Yeah.
Like I don't think those two theories are actually in competition in any meaningful way, because the real answer is they're bad at this.
I don't think they are.
They're not even good at rigging this shit, or trying to rig this shit, or trying to influence this shit.
Well, Lando's not holding up his end of the bargain until today.
I've tweeted this before, but the real reason we know that Democrats didn't steal the 2020 election is that if they stole the 2020 election, don't you think that we would simply enough to get Susan fucking Collins out of the way? Susan fucking Collins out of the way?
Democrats couldn't steal their way out of it. They couldn't what's it called? Not plot. The Democrats couldn't plot their way out of a paper bag, never mind to a presidency.
Right, but it's just like it's the same thing. Like these people are bad at their job, and like the job that they're bad at, yes, does include being like, because they're not even that good at rigging this shit for Lando.
Right. Well, Lando has at the end of the day, you can only rig so much. Lando still has to, you know what I mean, like do what he needs to do. But no, I think it was
make Oscar's engine blow up. Call him in for a fake puncher.
I mean, that would be crazy though, because I think that they're not going to do that because they care about the constructors probably more than they care about either of them individually winning it.
So apparently, Oscar Goat on Twitter is claiming that Oscar wasn't on the podium celebration for the Constructors Championship.
I don't know why Oscar's so mad. It's your own loser behavior that resulted in. Did you expect them to be like, Lando's not the fact that he thought that they were genuinely going to make Lando give him that place back is concerning for your level of like mental sharpness that you need to be a Formula One driver. Like, are you serious? And also, like, no offense, Oscar. What, like, did he expect that they like weren't gonna race at the start? This is more comparable to Monza, in my opinion, than like last week.
Monza 24.
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't join them not because he wasn't mad, not because he was mad. He didn't join them because he was in the media pen, and they didn't. He was mad. He didn't join them because he was in the media pen, and they didn't wait for him to be done before doing their podium celebration.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? That's actually crazy. Like, that's like really a big communications flop.
These people are bad. Again, these people are bad at their jobs. Also, can we get some, like, there's been a lack of good ice bath content this week. I'm very annoyed about this.
Troubling. That's a recession indicator right there.
Like, we you know, people have talked about, like, oh, Piastri looks skinnier. Looks like he's got some abs. Fucking show me the abs then, buddy.
I don't need to see Oscar Piastri naked. There are others that I would like to request, however. Not to be.
Look, I find Piastri more attractive than you do. That's fine. But, like, I'm just.
He's just a guy. Capital A, capital G. Nothing wrong with it. No hate to Oscar. He and his little girlfriend are cute. I love it. Slay. But to me, I'm like, you are just a guy. You gotta be a little. You gotta give me. I don't know. He's just not really he's just a man. If you combined every man in the entire world into one person, I do think you would get Oscar Piastri. Perhaps a more racially ambiguous Oscar Piastri, but an Oscar Piastri nonetheless. Where is my Charles Icebath content? Rude. Lewis, Max. I
gotten George content. I was so annoyed.
George Russell. I love when George Russell tries to do thirst traps because it's always slightly frightening. And I'm like, I appreciate that quality within these photographs. It was Singapore where Lewis posted that, and I'll never forget it. It's him like putting on his race suit, but it's like only like partially up his back. And like obviously the tattoos, the everything, he's glistening. Great photo. But every time I see it, I think about the fact that they have to wear fireproofs under their race suit now, which means that Lewis Hamilton took off the shirt and like partially put it back on to take that picture. And I just want to let him know that I see that effort and I thank him. I salute him. Thank you for your service, Sir Lewis.
So apparently Fernando like nearly got the back of Lewis and we just didn't see it.
Yeah, they didn't show it at all. I was watching on the freaking timing and their little dots. I was like, oh my God, he's gonna get Lewis. I was so stressed, but he didn't in the end. But it was close. He was like 0.4 seconds behind at the end. Because Lewis didn't have any breaks for the last lap of that race, which is crazy.
Apparently Lewis has been summoned for a track limits violation.
Lewis?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he didn't have any breaks. So
I am assuming that is going to be a very swift explanation from Ferrari.
If they give him a penalty when he didn't have breaks, that's so. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Maybe with track limits, I will say with track limits, I have always advocated for the fact that like the rule is like the rule is the rule is the rule. Like everybody. Oh, like track limits should be automatic. It should be a sensor. Like the only objection should be if like camera footage exonerates you that you didn't actually go off track. But you know what? It's Lewis, so I don't think I should have to keep my opinions in line with my previous ones. But also, how does one get track limits at Singapore?
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't think I've ever seen a summons at the end of a race for. I don't think I've ever seen a steward summons for leaving the track in an unjustified manner.
They always make everything so dramatic.
So
unjustified manner.
Charles finished 34 seconds ahead of Lewis.
Yeah, well, he didn't have any breaks.
I am not denying that.
No, yeah, he was dropping like a stone. It's actually pretty difficult to drive Singapore without brakes.
Yeah, so Fernando was 4/10 behind. So a 5-second penalty would put Fernando to P7, but he can survive a 10-second penalty, 5-second penalty or a 10-second penalty. He still finishes ahead of Behrman.
Whatever, free him. Who cares? That would be me in the steward room. Your Honor, who cares? Also, I don't even think I don't think it's possible to violate track limits at Singapore. Surely the track limit is the wall. No?
No, there are a few places like the chicane, when he just went straight on. I assume that's what that was his final track limit,
Yeah. Yeah, Franco experiencing the horrors once more. I do feel for my sweet, sweet child. He's so hot.
Alpine doesn't think. That's the thing you have to understand, okay? Alpine does not think.
Okay, wait. We have some Sky Sports Italy content. I feel like the Italians are waking up a little bit, which I do appreciate. Ferrari has to be honest with themselves. Well, you've already lost then. They have to admit they built a car that sucks. Maybe the worst Ferrari in a while. The project was a failure and Cardile going away is not an excuse. If you're not honest in this moment and you don't take responsibility for it, then the future is very dark for the Scuderia. Not that the past was bright.
Not that the past was bright. That is a banger. So yeah, no, Lewis had like 4 straight laps deleted, it turns out. So yeah, that might be a penalty for him.
Your Honor, who cares? I didn't see him do it.
I think Fernando Alonso very much would like one place.
I would very much like Fernando Alonso to drive into a ditch, and yet here we are, both unhappy. So, what do you want? Wait, what? Wait, what? What's geolocating most of their Franco content mean?
I think they block most of it outside of Argentina.
Why the fuck would they do that?
Because it's like Argentina special content.
Oh, I mean, if they're doing extra content for Argentina, I feel like that's fun. No?
Well, but it's like most of the content that they do with Franco is just like for the Argentinians alone. Now, I guess the question is it in? Really
Why do that though? Like what?
What language?
It's Spanish.
Okay. I was good. Okay. So
lots of people.
Okay, I need to explain this before people think I'm a complete dumbass. I was like, no, because I was gonna be like, is it because of a language thing? But it's like, no, they would want they'd be fine putting it in Spanish.
Everybody speaks Spanish, not me, but.
Does Argentina speak a different language? Like I started to assume I was an idiot.
No, I know what you think. No, I mean, I get.
Because yeah, it's not the language that would be the problem. Some Spanish Franco content that would work.
I mean, I get that it maybe if they would put their Spanish content like in a different place so that people that wanted that could go there and then people that want English could go somewhere else. But it doesn't make any sense to lock it outside of Argentina. There's a bajillion people in the world that speak Spanish. You know what I mean? That's weird. Although I guess freaking Sky and they're geo-locked, but they are Sky. It's a UK. That makes a little.
Well, Sky's a different thing, which is that
No, that makes sense because they're a British TV station, so I do understand why they're doing that.
And also, they don't So the thing about Sky is that they basically geolock anything that is, I think, filmed in the paddock.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the right to broadcast the paddocks because they can't violate other people's rights to either on-track footage or paddock stuff to the rest of the world. But like there's a reason why when like Lewis left for Ferrari, all of the like Sky, all the stuff like where they had somebody standing outside Maranello or whatever.
The funniest shit of all time.
What? It's the same as any clip of a Sky News program,
F1 Instagram geolocks a lot of content. I had no idea that was happening. I guess maybe if they want to post more without clogging up their feed. I think the Alpine stuff is bullshit. F1 I get a little bit more because it's like the official account and they already post a lot. So if they want to like target more regions, I feel like I will say I feel like the funniest, sorry, this is what I was gonna say. The funniest shit of all time is Rachel Brooks standing outside of the Mercedes factory like 30 minutes after. They got her there quick. And I was like, you know what? Respect. Them being on location. And then with the Horner firing, you had Brundle and I don't think it was Crofty, it was someone else that were like, again, just standing on a road in England outside of the Red Bull factory. I was like, oh, it's giving.
Did they think that if they just stood there long enough, they would just like be able to doorstop Christian Horner?
No, I think it's just purely for the vibe. I think they're so excited. They're like, we must physically stand in front of the building to film this. Like, right, because like what's the point of that? Like nothing really. Like it's not like it's usually when like reporters do that, it's because they're like you can't film in the court, so they're like going into the court and then like coming out and doing their hit, or they're like in front of a police scene so they could like get a statement from the press person or like maybe capture like some of, you know what I mean? Like they weren't gonna like the way that the Red Bull especially complex is set up, it's not like they were gonna like even see Horner because they weren't like on the grounds of the factory. They were like standing in front of the sign, kind of like on the road. No?
It's oh god, who was remember when the football player nearly died in that Bills game?
Oh my god, yeah.
DeMar Hamlin?
Yeah.
And they had like the ESPN reporter just like standing in the parking lot of like Cincinnati, whatever like Cincinnati
the hospital
is. And it was like the funniest thing because it's like you're not getting in that hospital, buddy. So you're just standing in a parking lot.
Right. It's also
for people to answer your text messages.
Right.
Like you could get to a studio, okay? You could get to a studio at some point in the 4-hour,
right.
center with SVP.
Well, maybe is it gonna be because sometimes doctors, when it is like a public, like when Trump got I mean, okay, I'm comparing this to like a football player, but it happens in sports sometimes too. It happened for Senna. Where the doctors will come and like sit down and like give a press conference with like a member of the family, usually to like announce what happened, kind of.
Yeah, and you could be doing your hits in the meantime.
From
doing your hits in the meantime from a studio, and then guess what? They'll tell you press conference in 40 minutes.
Right. Also, especially because you're in Cincinnati, like this isn't downtown Manhattan. It's not going to take you long to get from point A to point
B. Yeah. Like that was just one of like, and the reporter did a good job. Like he was informative. Clearly, he was getting people on the phone. He was getting people to answer his texts.
Right. From the team, though, the doctors aren't going to say anything. That's like really illegal.
It's extremely illegal, and frankly, like it's not like it's not like he was really standing out there so that like when his parents like flew in or whatever.
Okay, he better not be. That would be horrible.
To be clear, so it's just like, what is the point of this other than like you seem like you know things because you're just standing outside a hospital.
You know what would be funny is to pick, like, if that hospital, like, didn't really work for whatever reason, you're like, "Okay, we gotta pick a more, like, hospital-y looking just, like, at a completely separate location." Um, no, we're talking about filming on location and how it's sometimes it makes sense, but sometimes when it doesn't make sense, I always find it very
Martin Brundle could have been in the studio for the day horror was fired. There was no need
I
for
feel like they maybe just live
in a field.
I feel like they maybe just live around the I like to think that Martin Brundle just, like, kind of lives nearby and was like, "I'm going to the Red Bull factory to do my" He didn't wanna go all the way to London to Sky Studios, so he was like, "I'm just gonna actually stand in front of the Red Bull factory for this one."
I don't know if Brundle still lives in Kings Lynn.
Yeah, I have no idea.
My vague understanding of British geography is that Kings Lynn is like kind of in the same kind of general area as.
I don't understand England because it's so small, but it takes 7 hours to drive 30 minutes. It's, like, actually kinda crazy, like, getting from point A to point B in London, but also, like, the general region around London is, like, massively harder than it should. I will say the highway system, great job on that one, guys. But once you get off the highway, I am constantly like at any moment we're gonna hit a cow and it's all gonna be my life is gonna end. Like this is terrifying. There's the hedges are actively touching both sides of the car. I'm like, what's happening? Um, but also just getting like the ring system is good when you're like trying to traverse within the city, but like getting out, if you need to get to a point of around the circle from an inconvenient like location within the circle, it's good. Oh, sorry. It's gonna take you 8 hours.
I'm wrong. Silverstone is not close to Kings Lynn, so that theory is out, I believe.
Well, no, the least accessible part of England is wherever Goodwood is because I have like looked into going so many times and you just have to drive and it's like kind of a far again. You're basically going from Connecticut to Rhode Island and it's like 3 hours for no reason. Um but I'm scared uh like I'm scared to drive in England because I don't want to drive on the wrong side of the road. And there's no way to get to Goodwood without driving, unfortunately.
I'm sorry, we're counting Silverstone as in the East Midlands. Okay, that's a choice. The Midlands do not start that south. What the hell?
Silverstone is actually in an alternate time space dimension. When I went,
This is the Midlands. Jesus, no,
you're saying a word I've never heard before in my life. So
I'm sorry. British geography is all fake. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry to the great people of England, Birmingham, and oh my god. No, Flavio Briatore is the best. We love Flavio. This is a pro Flavio space.
listen. Did he potentially kill his boss with a car in 1974? Yes. But it was the vibe at the time. Are we going to get mad at, like
Lewis 5-second penalty.
injustice, I say.
During the hearing, the driver confirmed that he left the track on several occasions. He was trying to manage a brakes issue situation. That being said,
That's one way to put it.
in accordance with the list of exceptions foreseen in the driving standards guidelines, the stewards considered that this was not a justifiable reason and applied. If you're going to do this properly, maybe use the right fucking tense, you fucks. And applied the usual penalty for such type of infringement. This was not contested by the team representative nor the driver. Competitors are reminded that they can suck a nut.
Never forget when this is when I should have probably known that I wasn't not cut out for these streets, but it was like one of like the first things I ever did, videos I ever people are actually in my anyway. But they were like it was and I made a video making fun of I don't know, some fucking random British guy because it was like the steward or whatever. They like put out this whole like kind of nasty statement about Seb. And people were like, "Oh, like, because he had like not a British name, but I looked this man up and I knew he was British." And I like made fun of him for like he like used the wrong tense or something. It was like a really poorly written statement of being shady towards Sebastian Vettel. And everyone was like, "You're racist." And I was like, "This man went to Eton. Like, I'm so sorry." But actually, you're racist for automatically assuming that this man who went to fucking Eton and Cambridge, like, needs to be given, like, a pass on bad grammar. Uno reverse card.
So, no, you're entirely correct. Can we talk about the fact that you know what this grid needs?
Nico Rosberg.
Well, yes, always. No, it does actually need Logan Sargent.
No.
Yes, it does.
Unfortunately,
How much more fun this race would have been if we just had a shit box car bidding it.
no, it needed that. Then we need Nicholas Latifi. We
I do not find Nick Latifi hot though.
Yeah, but the thing is, Logan Sargent.
Ice bath content.
Logan Sargent, unfortunately for me, makes me not. For me, makes me not. He makes me not
It
him.
was literally did right up. We chose to we apply, yeah, not applied. And no, I like it was bad. It's really bad.
The thing about Logan Sargent is that the Logan Sargent cinematic universe makes me think things that make me a bad feminist. And I don't know how long I could go without setting back women almost permanently. You know what I mean?
You want to fuck one of Logan Sargent's friends?
No, I think that it's wildly annoying that everybody stands him because he's hot.
How is that an affront to feminism?
Because it like feeds into the narrative of women only like everyone because they're hot. But it's like these people who are like, maybe I don't like I maybe I don't want to root for the best one. Like I just, I want everybody to have fun. And I'm like that because it really is fine. It really is fine. And it shouldn't bother me. However,
Chris, I love you. You're amazing. You've always been a great friend in these lives. Silverstone being in the East Midlands because Northamptonshire just ends up in the East Mids by default. No, it doesn't. Unacceptable war crimes. On straight to jail. The Fred Armisen just like straight to jail.
no, shout out Northampton, where also another beef I have with the train system in England. Okay, I accidentally, when I got dropped off at Northampton Station by a truly random individual, and so I get on the train, whatever. I guess I accidentally sat in the VIP section. And so they tell me that and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I'll move." Like I get up to move and they're like, "No, you have to pay for the VIP ticket now." And I was like, Amtrak would never do me like that. That's all I have to say. But the it's all just London and not London. No, that's so true. But no, and Logan Sargent WEEI, and my father has on multiple occasions said in a he's serious that he believes that people who leave sports games early because their team isn't doing well should be shot. So, it's hard. It goes against my like internal programming.
Look, I think being like he's my Pookie and like I love him even though he sucks.
I mean, that's me with honestly me with Franco. So
is a different thing from being like I would like a bad driver on the grid, and if he can also be hot at the same. Like, I'm sorry, we need more safety cars.
But it's not even what you described that bothers me. It's the people who are like inventing the backstory of like, oh, like it's so unfair. He didn't get enough time. Like he didn't get enough time in F2 and like all of these other things, excuses. I'm like, whatever.
Because people aren't gonna do. People are gonna do that for whatever bad drivers in the grid. But like, do we need another year of Checo and Valtteri? Like, what is Cadillac?
Yes, I'm actually excited for that because it's the world's first number two off. They're the most famous number twos currently able to drive a Formula One car. And I think it's.
Can we get Ralph Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello?
Yes, I would also love that, except for Ralph Schumacher is a domestic terrorist. So I actually hate Ralph Schumacher so much. So maybe not him, but I would also like that.
CJ homophobic.
I know. It's so bad. When he came out as gay, I was like, damn. Now everyone's. I was like, come on. We couldn't have gotten a better one. Like, that's so. It's honestly homophobic for Ralph Schumacher to be the only gay F1 driver. It's homophobic by the F1 gods to do that to us as a people.
So, unfortunately, I don't think you and I can have the conversation that we had offline on Friday night about this topic.
If the next person, who it is, that shall remain nameless, is who
the Twitter wants to joke about it being
right.
Not going to be a fun time for you.
Imagine if a bunch of F1 drivers come out as gay and it's just like, it's like Mark Webber, Lando, Fernando. Like, it's just everyone who I absolutely hate.
What if Mark and Fernando actually finally just what if they're like drunk, like Oscar wins the championship, okay? Mark and Fernando end up at the same party.
They get married in Vegas.
They finally admit to each other that they've always had feelings.
Vomit.
Mark says, that's why I tried to knock Seb out in 2012 for you.
A union formed on evil will not stand.
And then they get married. What would you do?
Join the Westboro Baptist Church. I'm kidding. No, it would be really hard for me because unfortunately I would have to continue hating them. Like, I can't be disingenuous. Like, I'm not gonna like you just because. I mean, listen, I would be happy for them. I think that's beautiful that they found each other. I'm glad Mark left his weird groomer wife. I think that that's great. Unfortunately, I'm still gonna hate you. Like, it is what it is. I've already established these opinions. You know what I mean? Over the course of like decades. But it would be unfortunate because then everyone would be like, you're super homophobic. Like, that would be really good for both of their PR. So like I would low key in my heart be like, fuck. A Seb agenda above all. You know what I mean? And then oh my god.
I haven't talked about George Russell enough.
Speaking of,
he is now 2 for 2 in converting polls to wins. Everyone.
I hope you die for that statement, by the way.
Turn 1, apologize. I was right.
You bringing up the poll, I should kick you off for bringing up the poll conversion ratio. 100%,
David. Your fave could never.
I'm becoming more homophobic in this moment. We
should probably clarify that I did.
Oh, yes. Yes. Sorry, that is pretty critical.
Important context to that joke.
To the conversation. No, I'm proud of George. Good for him. And also,
no. This isn't about George being boring. This is about like this happens a lot with like, you know, like I was in the trenches of these 20.
Wait, we have a live. Speaking of George Russell, we have a live update from my friend that George says that his favorite track off the new album is Eldest Daughter. First of all, kind of a like not a deep cut, but like damn, like he actually listened to it. You know what I mean? Also crazy choice. Crazy father figure would have been crazier, but that's still.
I mean, no, it'll be father figure when Fires next year and he replaces Lance and Aston Martin.
And then wins a championship, yeah.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, it's just like, I don't know, you did your job. Like, outside of the first, like, 3 laps of the race, it was never within even, like, 2.5 seconds, right?
Yeah, but he got pole.
Right. No. And we gave him his flowers for that yesterday. But it's like, I don't know. He was conserving his tires on the hard stint for a while, and then he, like, used his tires towards the end, whereas Max had to burn them out. Like, he managed. That's the thing about George. When he knows he doesn't have to pit again,
yeah,
he, like, really, really saves his tires and, like, lets people, quote unquote, into it. I remember in Vegas last year, there was this, like, Lewis was like 10 seconds back, and then he was like gaining like 6-7 tenths a lap. And like George kind of got like a, hey, Lewis is gaining radio message from Marcus. And then just immediately was like 3 seconds fast, 3/10 of a second faster than Lewis for like 2 straight laps. And then immediately went back to like tire management mode.
Yeah.
Like just enough to me that Lewis couldn't catch him. And then just immediately went back to like a second a lap slower. Yeah. That's just because he's just saving his tires. He's paranoid about Secure 2020 happening again. He doesn't want to burn tires if he doesn't need to.
But you know what? Good for him. He didn't randomly bid it. We're proud, George Russell. We're proud.
We don't talk about Singapore 2023.
No, the way the commentary kept being like...
I was so excited when that was happening. When both Mercedes took the VSC. Great car. It was a great car, and it's the two of them. It's under the lights, and they are chasing you down, and that looks like the scariest fucking shit ever.
What do you think about...
Hamilton? Oh, it was such a good photo. And then George bids it on the last lap, and he cost me like $500 fucking bucks. Because I bet him to make a podium. No, the way the commentary kept being like, this track owes him, I'm like, he just yeeted himself into a wall. Like, I don't really think you can put that one on the track. No offense. No. If they ever do Secure short again, the track owes him. Right. Sure. Okay, speaking of Shakir, no, I think Toto, what's his middle name? Toto Wolff owes him. Because what do you think of my Shakir conspiracy theory that I fully believe that he didn't really need to pit again? I mean, it's a funny conspiracy theory. But okay, name me another time that a driver. I can't. We've done this before. I can't name another time when a driver hasn't realized they had a puncture and had to be told they had. And also drove a lap at full racing speed and set a personal best during that lap with a puncture. If I want to interview Toto Wolff so bad, it would be like 20 minutes of me just grilling him about that. Like, I would not let him rest. I would be like, admit it. Just admit it. You can admit, like, it's been enough time. I know what you did, Toto Wolff. Here's the thing. Brundle, you have to understand that Brundle's second biggest bias is pro George Russell. But what's his first biggest? Anti-Max? No, I was gonna say Carlos Sainz. I actually think Fernando is his biggest, but like Carlos is like weirdly a subsection of that bias. Well, but doesn't Brundle like know Carlos Sainz Sr. too? Yeah, they're friends. So yeah, okay, fine. So then third, I guess. But like Brundle when like when George puts the Williams on the front row in 21, he just like cuts Crofty off to be like, give him the seat, Toto. Yeah. When George wins, and when George is George Brazil 22, Brundle's like he's talking about I tried so hard to be the first F1 race winner from Kings Lynn. But, George, you finally brought one home, Where is this place? It's in the northeast. It's in, the southeast of England. It's in, as is everything. It's, on the thumb in the east. Okay. I know what you mean. But, although, actually, no. So, if Brundle does live in Kings Lynn, which I don't know that he does, but if he does still live there, Silverstone is, or wherever the hell the thing actually would be closer than would be closer than the would be closer to the Red Bull factory than
Sky Studios.
Than London, yeah. So maybe that was why they sent him there,
right?
But like, also, buddy, just built him a home office, okay? Like,
yeah, except for
doesn't he do the Sky podcast often enough from his house?
Yeah, I will say maybe they're traumatized by Nico Rosberg because Nico Rosberg, for all of his like professional cameramen and like fancy everything, why is every Nico Rosberg interview I do have one pixel and it's like him like this? And like the light.
He hasn't understood that you have to lift the camera up.
Yeah, he's backlit, like right. He's backlit. It's like literally terrible. And I'm like, can we not get
Brundle can do the F1 show from there. Clearly, the podcast like 6 times a year.
They yeah, I need someone to just take pity on Nico Rosberg and go get him like a home studio. Just go set up a webcam for the man because he's really
no. The problem is that he lives in like 17 places at the same time.
Yeah. No. But you can get like a very small attachment for your laptop that you can just clip on and like bring it around with you because it is always so I don't know, maybe slide a book under your laptop, girl. Like do something.
Do we think Nico has like a personal assistant for his like how involved do we think Nico's like Nico is in like Rosberg Ventures or Rosberg Capital or
I feel like
Rosberg Enterprises or whatever it's called.
I feel like pretty involved because he's been spending a not insignificant amount of time in Singapore, I feel. And also, well, according to the Singaporeans on the with him, not like in a bad way. But also I feel like because also like I feel like he gets people to give them their money. And presumably you have to have people with certifications and degrees to run the like finance side of it.
Yeah, but like, do we think that he's just like essentially like do we think that he is? This is going to be really offensive, but I'm going to say it anyways. Like the Donald Trump of this organization, in that he's merely the ceremonial figurehead.
No, I think
he's actually like talking to people about the investments they're making.
I think he's more involved than like a traditional celebrity figurehead investor would be. Like I do think he's interested in the like actual involved in like the actual investments they're making and like meeting with those people and working it over. But I feel like he's still a lot less involved than like a finance guy with a degree who used to work for Goldman would be if he was running this, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no way.
You know what Nico should do? And I don't know if he like cares enough, but like
wear a satin dress.
Well, sure, but he should try and do the Wrexham. You know, buy like a distressed kind of interest, but like sort of historic on the fall, like on sort of like third or fourth division like French team. And like try and build it or German team and try and build them back up to their former glory.
I feel like what he's
get it for cheap.
I feel like this is clearly for is he wants to buy a Formula One team, in my opinion.
Yeah, counterpoint, if you buy like I don't know some like Bundesliga 3 team and get them up to the Bundesliga in 5 years, you flip that and you use the sale money
to buy
the sale money of that team now being in the Bundesliga and the TV rights that you get for it
to buy an F1 team.
Yeah.
That makes sense, honestly.
Like that's like I don't think Ryan Reynolds is he's in Wrexham for the long haul. He's obviously very obviously gonna sell as soon as they're in the Prem. He's selling immediately.
I wouldn't know.
He does not have the money to invest $100 million to keep that team up.
True. All right, wait. I'm gonna run to the bathroom really quickly. I will be right back.
unfortunately, like no. But the thing is, like, if he could buy, like, if he should absolutely do that because that's the way that you end up buying Williams from like because like Williams will be sold the next few years. I think that's like pretty obviously the next F1 domino in terms of sales to go because it's an American hedge fund, right? Like vowels and a fast car, they pay off the debts that they had to take to fund like last year's car. They have like a couple years where they can actually take to fund like last year's car. They have like a couple years where they can actually spend to the cost up in full. Like, no, they'll sell the team immediately. Like they'll like the American investors want out. Um, Yeah, but I think he needs some money for Williams because the whole point of the cost cap was to give financial certainty and to raise quote unquote team or quote unquote franchise values. Like, yeah, I mean, if they ever ban the double ownership, Racing Bulls is the other potential. I just don't know that F1 will ever have the balls to break up the Red Bull double. Well, but I don't think Dorillion's gonna sell until I don't think they're gonna sell until Valves has taken the team back to like until basically Valves is gonna get them to like a race winning car, top of the midfield, and then they're immediately gonna sell and they're gonna like double triple their money. I just don't think an F1 team is selling for sub $500 million at this point. Did we ever get a price on what Audi paid to buy Sauber?
That's a good question. Did Audi? We would have to. Well, actually, never mind. I don't know what the fucking disclosure laws are like over there. If it was in America, we would have. But yeah, no, actually. So, because it's I just remember that Sauber is Swiss, and then I was like, actually, we probably don't know. Yeah, I don't think we know.
Because I think Williams will sell for like a pretty significant premium above what Audi paid.
Yeah.
Just because by the time that they will sell Williams.
Well, because also you're buying like the Williams brand and name, whereas like Audi's gonna make it Audi, like it.
But so you're buying that, but more importantly, you're buying. Wait, what is Cadillac paying as an entry fee?
Did Cadillac?
Yeah, exactly. Like the thing is that like being fast is going to help you, right? Like Audi knew they were buying a backmarker, and essentially Audi decided that it was better for them to buy a Sauber.
200 million to enter F1.
That's it.
Yeah.
Didn't make them go up.
It's not about that. It's F1 wants engine manufacturers, period. Because the more engine manufacturers they have, the less power that the existing engine manufacturers hold, right? Because think about it, when it was down to just Merc, Honda and Ferrari, both more Merc and Ferrari, because the Honda thing was really like through Red Bull, but both of them had F1 by the balls, basically, because they were like, if we leave, you're fucked. So of course they want more, so they don't have to. We can even out that power balance a little bit. We can even out that power balance a little bit.
Yeah, but like because the 200 million. I mean, look. If that's it, then yeah, you probably sell.
Well, it's not that they've spent a not inconsiderable amount of money just to demonstrate that they're like ready for F1, whatever that means.
No, I know, but they also get that like. Yeah, no, I suspect that
I mean, if you were going to enter, you would have spent that anyway, but I'm just saying there's a pretty considerable like upfront investment before you even know if you're going to be allowed to join.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is just like, because I think like, because the whole thing is that like if you buy Williams and they're like actually competitive, like once you buy them, then you're gonna like that is worth what 50 million a year, 60 million a year, being fourth in the constructors versus seventh or eighth.
Yeah, but how much are you spending? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but you'd think that the cost cap would but that's the point of the cost
But
cap.
a lot of that is covered. We don't know how much of it is covered by sponsors. So
Yeah, and that's the other thing. That's the other reason why the value is higher for a top in the midfield team than a bottom of the midfield team.
yeah.
It's going to be a lot easier for Williams to get sponsors in the next 2 years. Back on the podium,
Yeah.
Now, when James Valve goes to the sponsors and says, I have a 3-year plan to get us on the top step of the podium, you can point to Carlos's podium in Baku, but how many times does Alex come P5 this year? That's a real thing, as opposed to
yeah.
Respectfully, no one is ever going to believe that Gabriel Bortoleto is one of your race. No offense, or not.
I don't know. I mean, listen, Nico Rosberg, Nico Hulkenberg got a podium, so through God, all things are possible.
Weirdly, that's a different thing, and I think a lot of people understand that a wet race stuff happens, one off, and he's been terrible this year versus Williams, who are again pretty consistently.
Yeah, they're good. They no, also the Duracell sponsorship they have one of the best title sponsors in my opinion. Duracell has executed 0 gay people that I know of.
Duracell is not the title sponsor.
You're right. But don't know who that is, but I like and also I feel the battery on top of the car is very cute.
Oh yeah.
Who's Atlassian? Probably an evil investment firm, if I had to guess, based on the name.
Okay, well, here's the thing. The Renault power unit, one barely qualifies as a power unit. And B, Renault is forgetting about the Renault power unit, so I think we're fine forgetting about the power unit.
The Renault engine couldn't power a fucking lawnmower. It's so fucking bad. No, they have the Merc engine. I feel like we'll see about Alpine. They've been sneaky not terrible this year, so maybe.
No, they've been abjectly horrible. They're worse by a mile.
Yeah, you're right. But they had a minute there where they.
No, last year they were actively good at the end of last year, and they've been horrible for 3 months.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I feel like.
You remember Gasly qualifying in 4th or 5th earlier this year?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Listen, I don't pay attention to the back markers. I will say I know I've also been at my boy Franco, but I have been.
Hey, Franco out qualified Pierre again this week.
Let's go.
Gasly signed a contract extension and has the worst case of senioritis I've ever seen.
Respect.
Done with this power unit.
And I can you blame him for that? Truly, you cannot.
Because the other thing is, I think they have far beyond everybody. I think they made a quick and dirty calculation, and nothing they do to this car is going to change that.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, Jack and to a lesser extent Franco probably ate a lot of their budget on crashes pretty early in the year.
Oof.
So, sort of makes sense.
It's tough.
That they executed the full punt. The survive to 26.
Well, especially when you have the Mercedes engine next year, I feel like that's a pretty wise calculation. But yeah, I have to be honest. Beyond wanting Franco to keep his seat for personal reasons, I don't really care that much about Alpine. And or Pierre Gasly. Sorry to. I would like to see. I do appreciate the Pierre Gasly wood jokes though. Those have been sustaining.
I mean, here's what we actually need Alpine to do now that they've just fully decided they suck. Give us shirtless Pierre and shirtless Franco content.
I mean,
that's how you stop the suffering.
I'm never gonna. And I heavily dislike Gasly. That's fair. Maybe I'll start hating Pierre. That'll be fun. I need a new person to hate. Lando's getting kind of stale, And Fernando, I can't even really I don't know. I will never root for Fernando, and I will always wish evil upon him. But I've gotten to the point in my life where I can admit to myself that I find Fernando Alonso wildly amusing, like as a concept.
Um, you know what? I mean, I don't know. Hating Bortoletto for A, taking steps number A to being a Fernando regen feels like that's easy for you.
Yeah, but I don't really care about the number thing. You know what I mean? I feel like Seb wouldn't care. That's why I guess I don't care.
Wow, you're easily charmed. You're easily charmed by a ravishing young homosexual. Also, what the hell is going on with Bortoletto and Hulkenberg? Why do they look like a weird age gap gay relationship every time they interact?
I appreciate that every clip I see of them is Bortoletto just like openly hitting on Nico Hulkenberg and making him wildly uncomfortable. I do find that extremely funny. And I also think that it's not a bad I respect Bortoletto's strategy of because their dynamic it Loki makes me like Nico Hulkenberg a little bit better. Not like him, but he's moved up a bit because he's taken it with a humor that like a grudging acceptance that I would not have expected of him. Because it's also so funny, like the story of like the fact that like he went to help Nico and like give him this like first aid thing that he have and he's like, why are you helping me? And he's like, bro, we're in last place. Like it's not that serious. Um and also the fact that they're like Hulkenberg was like, yeah, he's like share like it's not that serious. Um and also the fact that they're like Hulkenberg was like, yeah, he's like sharing setups and stuff with me. He's like, I just don't like get why you would do that. Like, why would you want to help me? And he's like, again, like it's P19. Like, is it really that serious? And I kind of respect that attitude from Bortoletto. He's like, I want both of us to do better so the team can have more money so that we don't have to do this shit again. But the PK connection is tough for me. And everyone's like, but he's Brazil. Like, people act like there's 7 people in the nation of Brazil. I'm like, there are a lot of Brazilian people. You don't have necessarily, but I get it's like the motorsport community. I get it. I get it. But that is tough. I also like the fact that he told us that he barks at his girlfriend because she's so hot. That I think is the level that every man should be bringing to their girlfriend. That being said, if my boyfriend started barking at me, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But, you know.
I mean, does he just bark because he's trying to distract her from the fact that he is aggressively hitting on a man?
But I think it's more like Nico Hulkenberg came in and he was like, you know, like yeah, like he was like, I don't give a fuck about you, tiny child. Like whatever, I'm good. He comes from the like older school generation of drivers where he's like, we don't fuck with each other. Like we're enemies. Blah 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 blah. And then, but Bortoletto, I respect the strategy of like he was like, I'm gonna make you like me. Like, I'm going to, like, I'm not gonna be put off by you being like, you know, like gruff and silent. Like, I am just going, like, he killed him with kindness, and I respect that. Um, and also, do you know what? I love a good age gap relationship, myself personally. So, I also would if I was an F1 driver, unfortunately, I would be a whore. Like I would not be the because first of all, proximity is the number one dictator of like attraction, right? I would fall in love with my teammate, I'd fall in love with my team principal, I'd fall in love with my race engineer. I would fall in love with everybody. It's just who I am as a person, unfortunately.
Yeah. So apparently, Oscar disconnected his wheel the precise second Zach Brown started talking in Park Ferme.
T. Good. Oscar should be mad, but you have nobody to blame but yourself. I can't believe they celebrated without him.
I mean, Lando's the aggression, the forward thinking paid off. Aggressive on the teammate question. Lando. Well, I hit Max, so I wasn't aggressive on my teammate. Interviewer. The reason you lent on Oscar is because of the touch with Max. Lando. Yep.
Well, I don't even think he lent on. He had a wiggle.
The reason you lent on Oscar is because of the touch with Max. Lando. Yep.
Well, I don't even think he lent on. He had a wiggle, probably because he hit Max.
Yeah, no, like
oh, I hate having to defend Lando Norris, but I don't think it was like.
And the thing is, like, Oscar hadn't seen in the car. He hadn't seen the like out of the corner where you're just like where you can see the back of both of them. You see the back of the car wiggle, and then to reflect that, the front of the car goes right into Oscar. He just views that as Oscar being or Lando being an asshole.
Yeah.
And I think in the context of the crash, he will see the thing he didn't see in the same way. Like, I know the video that they ended up doing for him was very staged. Do you remember Qatar 23 when Lewis and George collided?
Oh, yes.
Like, I understand why, from Lewis's standpoint, he did what he did. Because he didn't realize that Max was on George's inside, right?
Yeah.
And, like, at least I think Lewis was the one on the outside. I don't watch that crash back for obvious reasons. But, like, you know, that was just a situation where there were three people on track. George didn't have any room because Max was in the way. Like,
yeah, I guess I also
and nothing happens. And like, I understand why Lewis on the radio was like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
You know, he was pissed, and then I completely also understand that that somebody would have shown it to him at Mercedes when he got back 15 minutes later.
Yeah, no, he was like George had.
He would have looked at it and went, "What the fuck did I do?"
Yeah.
Fuck.
Right.
You know?
No, he came around later. He was like, George had nowhere to go. Like, sorry.
He had the tweeted and Instagrammed apology up before lap fucking 35.
That's because Lewis is not new to this game. Like,
Lewis is not new to this game, and Lewis knows better than almost anybody that, like, when you're wrong, fucking just
yeah, you gotta eat it, or it'll
kill that shit in an hour.
Right, and you'll never have to talk about it again, as opposed to if you don't, when it's going to be a topic of conversation for the next 3 months. Like, just
and you know what? And you know what ended up happening? We all forgot about it.
Right.
Because it was fine. We rolled in Dakota like the next weekend, and nobody asked a single question about that.
The thing is, for me, I feel like even when it comes to the papaya rules of it all, like, getting your elbows out is fundamentally different to me than, like, the swap back, like, strategy fairness of it all. Like, you got your elbows out at Monza last year, girly pop. I don't know that Oscar. I feel like to say that that was over the line. I mean, I guess maybe if he thought he turned into him, but
from the angle, it really does look like Lando for no real reason just bangs front right to front left. For no real reason, from Oscar's onboard, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's
true. You have to see the back angle where you see that the car wiggles and then wiggles.
Yeah.
And the second wiggle is when he gets hit. Because to him, if you don't see that Lando is out of shape, out of the corner.
Yeah.
Right? You think he's just being an asshole. When Oscar sees it.
I mean, I do think it's
okay, I get it.
I do think it's a ballsy move from Lando to go for Oscar as well. But I was like, we're in a championship fight here. What are we talking about? 'Tis the moment for ballsy moves, right?
And again, nobody in the top 7 overtook anybody legitimately all race.
Right. Lando was right, and he pulled it off.
That was the opportunity to make a move.
I tipped my $45 Sims cap to him.
Not your variety of F1. None of your variety of F1
trucker hats. They're all so ugly, and I keep buying.
How did you have the artistic vision to do to like cut a frame of you saying every single one of these hats, and it's a different hat every time.
Because I was so.
How bad was that? Like,
it's because I was.
How bad was that to edit?
I was going out and I wanted to wear an F1 hat, and I was trying all of them on. They were so ugly that I was so enraged in that moment. But it wasn't bad to edit at all because I just sat down and like went like I had them all in a stack next to me, and then I just said the word and like paused, and then I did it and I said the next word, and I just had to trim them down. You know what I mean? TikTok editing, I will say, like, that is the genius innovation that TikTok had over YouTube, is that like the ability to film and edit and how easy it is in app is game changing, like, completely. Like the fact that you don't have to crack open Adobe Premiere to make that video makes that process from like a 2 hour long process to make that silly video to, I don't know, 15 minutes. I was late to the event that I was going to because I sat down to crash out about Formula One hats. But it had to be said.
We have Jensen's from the Piastri of it all.
Okay, what did Jen? Well, I actually don't give a fuck what Jensen has to say because he is a Lando Norris dick rider. But continue.
It's racing. He's side by side. He had the little tap into the back of the Red Bull with Max, and he got a bit of oversteer, which is quite unusual. Just goes to show how low the grip was. He didn't purposely try and push him in the wall. It's not like he drove him into the wall. It's not like he drove all the way to the wall, hoping that Oscar would hit the wall or disappear. It was halfway through the corner. He had a snap of oversteer. If I was Oscar, I would be like, my teammate got the better of me there, and that's it.
Shocker, Jensen is on Lando's side, but he is correct in this very specific case. No, Adobe, I'm going to say a controversial statement. I actually like Premiere. It's just, I mean, obviously, the main thing with the footage and the YouTube and the real camera of it all is like the transferring the footage everywhere you need it. But I actually am a Premiere defender. What is indefensible is
You want to crash ad in Fred Vasseur?
it. 1 second. I just hate Photoshop. That's my real enemy. Why? Why?
No. You're gonna have a realer enemy here in a second.
Ugh. Fine. What is it?
Tough weekend for us. We didn't extract the best from our potential in quali, and the race was very difficult with cooling. When we had free air and we were pushing, I think the pace was decent, but we pushed 10% of the race. We have to fix this because you can't expect to be in free air all of the race, especially in Singapore. It's very frustrating for the team, but mainly for the drivers. And this I can perfectly understand. We're asking them to be on the back foot from lap 3 or 4, and there's still 58 laps to go. We have a lot of frustration after this weekend, but we have to be focused on the next one because we lost it in 2 weeks. We didn't extract the best from our potential in quali, and the race was very, very difficult with cooling.
10% of the race. 10% of the race. 10%. 1/10.
6 laps. 6 laps. That's 1/10 of a race around Singapore. Six laps. Do you want me to send you the tweet?
Yeah.
Twitter. Thank you.
10%. 10%. 10.
But hey,
Not even 15. 10.
But CJ, they didn't extract the potential.
Oh, whatever. He says that every single race. Who cares? Yeah, we get it. Charles should be on pole every single weekend because the car is so good. I hope you get hit by a fucking bus. I hope that an eagle swoops down and carries you off into the sea. I hope. I'm not going to say that. I hope. Maybe you get hit by a bus is a little harsh. But non-fatally. I hope you non-fatally get hit by a bus. I hope the entire Ferrari facility in the middle of the night, so there's no one there, gets engulfed in flames and burnt to the ground. I hope that John Elkin gets kidnapped by the Russian government and that the America and Italy don't have enough money to trade for him back. Just like he didn't have enough money to sign Adrian fucking Newey. I hope he gets sent to a Siberian labor camp. That's maybe a little harsh as well, but
Are you okay?
10%! It's all I'm stuck. I just can't. I don't have any thoughts on the matter other than me just repeating 10% to myself.
What's I'm just trying to check some of the Leclerc out specifically. What's the oh my god.
6 laps!
Let's just play a fun game called Twitter search for Leclerc's name.
No, that's a game I'd play if I want to have a bad afternoon. Let's put it that way.
Here we are. Let's go to Leclerc's letters.
My queen, Clara. I don't know how you say it. I've never heard it said out loud. Sorry.
I just think Clara.
I feel like Italian, it's Clara. Is she Italian? I just kind of assumed that. Hang on.
Cheryl quote. Honestly, I don't think there's anything on the car right now that makes me believe we're going to make a step forward.
Oh, no, she's Brazilian. Sorry.
The situation, and to be honest, I don't even really know how to change that because we don't have any new parts or updates coming.
And the new parts that they did bring made it worse. Or if they didn't make it worse, they certainly at least didn't improve the situation. Okay, she's from Brazil.
No. This quote's incredible. Sorry. Our whole race was pretty difficult. Right now, it just feels like we're passengers in this car and can't get much more out of it. Passengers in this car.
Yeah. Good. Charles is having a justified crash out this weekend. Yeah. But anyway, I think it's...
that is a bar.
I think it's Clara because she's Brazilian.
Struggling with breaks at the end. Cheryl, not at the end. In like that from lap 7 or 8.
Yeah, 10%.
Charles Leclerc straight up saying he had brake issues from lap 7 or 8.
Oh. They're so bad. Also, sorry, I'm getting mad now at a Taylor Swift tweet that came up below the one you sent me that says, I don't even give a fuck if the Fate of Ophelia has the best musical beat ever conceived as an actual English major. Same. I refuse to listen to a song that implies Ophelia might have reconsidered killing herself if she just dated a quarterback. 2 things. Travis Kelce, not a quarterback. Number 2, yeah, Ophelia actually would have had a different fate if Hamlet hadn't been such a pussy ass loser. Have you watched and or read Hamlet? Like,
well, yeah, but also isn't the point of the song that she is glad that she is going to avoid the fate of Ophelia?
Because it's the fate of Ophelia is killing yourself because your spineless loser boyfriend won't kill his uncle. That's the fate of Ophelia.
Right. So no, it's a metaphor for Joe Alwyn is Hamlet, right?
Right.
This is not even subtext.
No,
just text.
I mean, it's subtext because if you're familiar with Hamlet and you're familiar with the lore of what happened with Joe Alwyn, I would say that it's pretty clear that he is supposed to be Hamlet. Because Ophelia has to kill herself. Well, she didn't have to. Ophelia kills herself because Hamlet is like it's a comedy of errors. And because again, he's a spineless pussy who won't kill his uncle, and they're like not going to be allowed to be together because of the husband, but like they've already fucked, and so like she's like and then kills herself. And if Hamlet had like stood 10 toes down behind Ophelia, it wouldn't have been a problem. But Hamlet's never stood 10 toes down on anything in his life because he's a spineless pussy. Have
Is this like in the like text that he's like?
Yeah, they say he's a spineless pussy. Shakespeare wrote that down.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I like read Hamlet, but I like read it for independent reading and not for like.
To be fair, I haven't read Hamlet since high school, so I'm a little fuzzy on the finer details, but that's.
Well, so the thing is that I got assigned King Lear the year that
Yeah.
all the other grade 12s did Hamlet. And so I am like, so yeah, so we didn't like really talk about it to the same extent. Whereas like,
Yeah. I've also seen it.
Also, English. I'm sorry, English major. You don't.
As an actual English major, bitch, that's not a flex. I was an English major, like, girl. Oh, we're bragging about being English majors now? Come on. The stolen valor, because she called herself an English teacher, a line of attack against Taylor Swift is got to be one of the funnier ones they've ever come up with. I called my mom and I was like, I was gonna post this video, but my mom is like too mean and crazy to put on the internet. And I was like, Mom, like, what do you think about I was like, so Taylor Swift in her engagement post said your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married. She goes on for like 10 minutes about how excited she is for Taylor Swift. And I'm like, okay, so you didn't even care about it. So I was like, people are saying it's stolen valor because she called herself an English teacher. And then she said some very disparaging statements against the people of the internet that I feel are too offensive to put online because people would be like, wow, you're a.
Send this to me. I'm hurt.
I'm sorry. I don't have I think I deleted it, but because it was like it was like a 40-minute long video. I was taking up space on my phone. That's fair. I loved Jane Austen as a kid. Like I read it. Like I've read Pride and Prejudice and Emma and Northanger Abbey like over and over. I literally actually I have it right here. I read them over and over and over and over and over again. And so I think that not that obviously Shakespearean English is like a little bit removed from that as well. But I think that I just got so used to the way that those books were written that it's like a little bit easier for me to read Shakespeare. Hamlet sucks though, both the book and the play and the person.
I don't know. My general. So I gave the album another spin yesterday. I'm less of a hater than I was.
You have listened to it 5 times and you'll love it. I love it. I mean, I get it. Everyone hates it. Everyone always hates all of her albums because most of these people just don't like Taylor Swift's music, which is fine. Like
that's the problem. That's the problem with getting to a point where you feel like you have to listen to the music,
right?
To be like up on the cultural conversation is that you get a bunch of people who just like, or people who because she's quote unquote reinvented herself so many times. Like people who like 3 Taylor Swift albums feel like they have to listen to everyone, and it's like simply you do not.
I also feel like it's a lot of people who there's a lot of people who are like have like weirdly broken off to be like Joe fans or like the Gaylors and those people who like pretend to be Taylor Swift fans but like secretly really hate Taylor Swift. And they're like that subsect is behind like half of the anti Taylor Swift like movement on the internet. But I also I mean, I don't know. I don't really it doesn't if I cared what other people thought about Taylor Swift, like I would have been in a world of hurt in the year of our Lord 2012. So I have long since become immune to the Taylor Swift is a cringe evil loser allegations. Okay.
But she is an evil cringe loser.
Right. I like it and I like her. I like it and I like her music and other people's opinions. I don't bother me. That being said, I blocked at least 14 people since the album release for their opinions. So clearly it bothers me a little bit, but
how have you not blocked me?
you're not making videos.
No, but I am being like, no, we need to like call privately so I can talk to you and have an egg.
I don't think you were that negative about it.
No, because the thing is that like it's hard for me to like sincerely troll people about like sincere beliefs, you know?
Yeah, because I love it. Listen,
they're playing an NFL game at the Bernabeu.
What
the hell?
Right now?
They're playing an NFL game. No, in November. They're playing it at the Real Madrid Stadium. That's gonna be fire.
I've always wanted to go to a Real Madrid game because I will say during my brief fake soccer fan era, I was like the both Camp Camp Nou? I'm sorry. I am deeply sorry to the Spanish people about these two names that I'm about to say. And the the one you said with the B, the Real Madrid Stadium. They both look lit as fuck. But also every time I said that I wanted to go, um, all of the Spanish people were like, maybe take like a man with you. And I was like, what? That makes me uncomfortable that you suggested that.
I don't even necessarily think it's take a man with you. I think it's just like, do not ever walk into either of those places alone. I'm not sure if I could walk into those alone. I'm like 6'4" and feel like a brick shit house.
I was a fake football fan.
Camp Nou and the Bernabeu are both incredible scenes. Although my favorite thing about Real Madrid is last year Arsenal. So the Champions League playoffs, all the group stage game or all the knockout stage games until the final are 2-leg playoffs, home and away.
Yeah, I know that.
Arsenal went up. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mansplain. My bad. But Arsenal went up 3-0 in London. And then they went to, and for the week between games, all you hear from Real Madrid is the coach gave an impassioned speech about how you need to try for every ball, and 90 minutes at the Bernabeu is a long time, and all of this stuff. They kept talking about this remontada, the Remontada.
What's that?
I don't even come back. I assume.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a Spanish word. I thought it was a.
And then you know what Arsenal goes and does?
Wins.
Not just wins the 2-leg tie. They win the game outright in Spain.
Yeah.
They win 5-1 on aggregate.
Well, it's not like British soccer fans are known for being particularly chill individuals. You know what I mean?
I mean, respectfully, no, they're not. And Arsenal fans are psychos.
Right.
There's a reason why AFTV is the most popular fan page, fan reaction forum in probably the world, because these people are insane. They win a singular game and they think they're winning the quadruple every year. It's my favorite bit of content on earth. You think Ferrari fans are bad about this is our year? Genuinely? I need Arsenal fans. I need Arsenal fans who are into F1 to understand that Arsenal and Ferrari are the Spider-Man meme to each other.
See, that's how I feel about the Yankees and Ferrari.
I mean, John Elkann. There is a
John
Elkann. John Elkann and Hal Steinbrenner do have certain similarities in life. Hey, I was right. Remontada does mean comeback.
Hell yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that the Yankees lost by Blue Jays yesterday?
Hell yeah. Can we talk about the fact that John Elkann was born in New York? This is something I think about frequently. Everything. The minute that I found out that information, it all made sense. I was like, oh, duh, obviously. Of course. That's why we're in.
No. John Elkann is the failed son Steinbrenner, who's just milking this team for cash and refuses to actually spend the money to fix it.
I like that though that you call everyone in the US a Yankee because we only really call people from the Northeast Yankees. And I like that culturally we have subsumed the rest of the United States. You're right, there is no one but us.
Oh, have you seen that? There's somebody is selling a T-shirt that says one BJ is better than nine Yanks outside the Rogers Center for the Jays home games. And I just want to say, I hope that guy is making millions of dollars.
He deserved it. If
entirely. So there was some, there's like crap AI, like slop generated, like who people are cheering for maps.
Yes.
So somebody tried to do that. One, they called it the ALCS, and it's the ALDS, first off. But second of all, they tried to claim that everybody in America was cheering for the Yankees over the Blue Jays. And I would just like to clarify a singular point.
Not me. Not me.
Please articulate your position on baseball, which is number one, the Red Sox, and two, anybody playing the Yankees.
Yep. The fact nobody in America is rooting for the Yankees outside of New York. It would be one. Here's my map. One teensy tiny dot over like part of Long Island and Manhattan, maybe Westchester County too. Everywhere else is the Blue Jays, and then again Montreal maybe.
There's one place that wouldn't be
Florida.
No, well, yes, but I was also going to say Dallas. Because the Jays and the Texas Rangers hate each other. So I'm sure there is residual like 2015 bat flip, 2016 resentment there.
That's fair. But I'm not even.
I had a New Englander here and I had to confirm because this did make one of my buddies very mad.
Yeah.
I didn't even make the map bad enough to like exempt
Boston
from like the concept that Boston is cheering for.
The New York Yankees could be playing against the Al Qaeda baseball team, and I would be rooting for Al Qaeda.
The Al Qaeda Osamas.
I would get a T-shirt with Osama bin Laden's face on it. I don't give a fuck. You think I'm gonna root for the Yankees? I would root.
If you're gonna do rage-bait slop, do it better.
I would root for the Chinese Communist Party Maos before I rooted for the New York Yankees. I'd be redded out. I'd be there in full red, waving a towel before I rooted for the fucking New York Yankees. You're out of your goddamn mind if you think that Boston is rooting for the Yankees.
Oh, do you have any takes on this Riyadh Comedy Festival?
$10 million. That's my price. I think anyone saying they don't have a price, no offense, and I'm sorry. And I know that this makes me a bad person. I know that, okay? And I'm sorry to the slaves. But to quote CJ Craig, they're going to be selling soccer balls with their teeth, whether we sell them cheeseburgers or not. So we might as well. And but the craziest part of the Riyadh Comedy Festival is the payoff was only $350,000. You cannot, as a.
Negotiated up to $1.6 billion.
Still not enough, because especially if you're like a free speech hardo, which all of these people are, that's how they justify their Trump support, is that they're free speech, which is hilarious in light of recent events, but whatever. But they're all free speech people. That's their whole alt-right podcast bro grift. And then you're gonna go to like the anti-free speech capital of the world and do a comedy festival for not. And also the thing is, I don't have any respect for them because they're not already rich. I'm not broke. I actually would consider myself rich, like in comparison to my wildest dreams of my parents. But I'm not like I can't buy a house. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but I want a 2-bedroom apartment. And I would donate a lot of it. I would donate to good causes. Okay. I would donate to the Trevor Foundation. I would donate to, I don't know what we can do for the slaves, what organization. I would look one up. Okay. But maybe a union. I don't know. But I would donate a lot of it, but I would also have a 2-bedroom apartment. $10 million. That's my price. Unfortunately.
I've said this about Nate Silver a bunch in my political writing. I feel like 2012 Dave Chappelle, or like let alone like 2005 Dave Chappelle, would like completely fucking hate modern Dave Chappelle.
Him doing it is the one that like really surprised me because again, he has
because his brain is clearly fried because he legitimately thought that just doing like, ha, what about them trans people for like 5 straight Netflix comedy specials?
Yeah, that's true.
Funny comedy. Put aside opinions of transphobia or not, for the purpose of the sentence I'm about to say, it wasn't even funny comedy.
No, and
so, like, clearly his brain's just rotted. And, like, Louis C.K. and Aziz Ansari.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Louis C.K. is already. What are they going to cancel him again? Like,
well, yeah, and frankly, those people need money.
Right. Right.
Like, Bill Burr, no, because Bill Burr is the one that gets me. It's like, you know,
yeah, that one's crazy to me too.
You have like conservatives aren't going to like you, bud.
Right. Are conservatives pro Saudi Arabia?
No.
Right.
Fucking, it's not Theo Vaughn. Who's the Shane Gillis was like, yeah, they offered me like a bag, and I was like, no. Because like we, you know,
yeah.
This is line. You don't 9/11 your friends.
No, I mean respect for them to saying no. I'm just saying that I
definitely has like 5 years of child support payments, and he needs to
he's
off in one lump sum or something.
All I'm saying is for $10 million, I would get up there and be like, I don't think women deserve rights. We don't even need them. Who are feeble? That's too much for our feeble brains.
Which would you rather do? A 20-minute set at the Rion Comedy Festival, or make 5 3-minute videos talking about that Rainbow Road ass fucking proposed fucking new Saudi circuit.
I feel like I could have fun with somebody killed. I feel like I could have fun with that one. Probably the Riyadh Comedy Festival because it's not directly like people are definitely gonna die in like horrific working conditions, like trying to build that track. So
I don't like the drivers. What the hell?
It's not happening, so don't worry about it. But the
like how much are these drivers being paid for those tweets?
Infinity money. I would need to know. No, I'd rather do the set. I guess I have to go there for that one. But also, like, Saudi Arabia is not going to kill me. Like, they need the U.S. government in like a lot of different ways. So I'm not like that worried about getting snatched. But the Rainbow Road thing, I feel like would also be fun because I feel like I have to believe that everybody would know.
Oh, fuck. I forgot Pete Davidson lost his dad in 9/11. That makes it so much worse.
I actually think it makes it better. I think he's the only one who's allowed to take the money. Like taking a tobacco, like taking a bag of cash from tobacco because your dad died of like lung cancer. Okay. Yeah, you're the only one. You just reparations.
You can't just say that.
I'm joking. I don't actually. You are, obviously. I would do. So the implication is that you would turn down $5 million. Do I have to pay taxes on it? I need 5 million liquid. Like, so whatever the tax bill is going to be, I need 5 million liquid is my minimum. Because I need to buy a $2 million house, unfortunately, based on where I live. If I want to have an office. So they I mean, is there a difference between Pete Davidson phoning it in and his usual comedy routine at this point? Hey, I mean, I don't know. I do not find Pete Davidson funny. I watched like one. Like, he was okay on SNL, but like that's because like I watched like one. Like, he was okay on SNL, but like that's because like SNL can like a well-written SNL skit can make anybody funny. I'm not that tapped into the comedy scene, if I'm totally honest with you. Because most of them put out an aura that I strongly dislike.
The fact that Theo Vaughn was on College Game Day yesterday was a great deep affront to me for the 6 minutes of game day I watched while I was waiting for the Georgia game to load while we were talking yesterday.
Oh, the Rio Comedy Festival is crazy, but I also want everyone to know that I am willing to sell my soul. I command a high price. I mean, if you can hold that to me, come on. I'm never gonna get $10 million and I need it, you know?
Look, I will say you not being into the comedy circuit is the most understandable thing of all time.
Yeah.
You already have to deal with enough dude bros
Right. Yeah.
that you don't need more of that energy.
No, I hate men, and there's already so many aspects of my life that are filled with them. That's like it's like me. Everyone's like, you learn to golf, like it'll be so fun. You can come with us, golf, 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 golf. And I'm like, I stand firm. Again, this is where I draw the line because I already have so many hobbies that are just me, like 3 other women, and like a room full of dudes. So I'm not looking to add to that list.
Yeah. So it's
Daniel
it's a week off
Okay.
of Coda.
I am gonna look up Daniel's.
Can we take a second to appreciate? I saw like one person complain that it's like Baku that they didn't do the Baku Singapore doubleheader again, even though everybody complained about the 2-week break between Singapore, like the 2 weeks off and then Coda last year. And I would just like to explain to Europeans what next weekend is, which is to say the Red River Rivalry between Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah, infrastructure-wise, Austin can't host another event next weekend.
It's not even about hosting because they play the Red River at the Cotton Bowl. Like respectfully, every corporate bigwig who also sponsors F1, all of the event infrastructure is in Dallas for the week.
Right.
Every law firm or every business that has offices in both places, the Dallas partners come down for the F1 and the Austin partners come up for the Red River, and there's events and there's shit around it. Simply, you can't do it. It's so wild to me that Europeans talk about you need to understand our culture and you need to understand our stuff and you have to understand why we do this stuff, and then literally do not make a single effort to understand that there's an entire American sports calendar that
Well, I don't think that's true though, because they host Miami the same weekend as the Kentucky Derby, which is like the exact same audience that they're going for.
No, so the difference with the Kentucky Derby is very simple. Nobody goes to the Kentucky Derby twice.
That's not true.
Once to say you went, and then you leave. Also, there isn't a whole corporate there's way less corporate activation stuff happening in Kentucky because frankly nobody wants to go to fucking Kentucky.
Well, and also it's not.
I know multiple people who do or who have done Wednesday, Thursday, Friday Miami, Club Miami night, Saturday at the Derby, back for the race on Sunday.
Yeah, that's the other thing is the Derby's
Miami Derby, back for the race on Sunday.
Yeah, that's the other thing is the Derby's
party in Miami, race Sunday.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Derby is on Saturday, and it's not like people are sticking around it.
No, and there's none of the corporate activations, and there's none of the it's the one event that is very it's like the Masters. There's no sort of corporate infrastructure around the Masters.
Well, yeah, because they don't.
Churchill Downs and Augusta National simply are not going to allow you to show your shitty lip gloss.
No, they think they're above that, and they are actually correct.
Right, exactly. And so it doesn't matter. It's the same with Wimbledon, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why all the drivers, when they want to be seen watching tennis, there's a reason that they all do it at the French Open and not at Wimbledon.
No, that's not true. George Russell always goes to Wimbledon in his little outfit.
Because Wimbledon is oftentimes Silverstone week.
Yeah.
So he just stays in London for a few days.
I will say,
but like George, like Charles Pierre, like all the guys, like whatever, they could also go to Wimbledon.
No, they go to the Monte Carlo Open. They don't go to Roland Garros.
Oh yeah, true. That's even less.
Which makes sense. I'm sure Charles has to go as part of his duties as a member of the royal family.
Charles has to go, but even then, it's like some of the guys will go out to Paris for like a quarterfinal or a good semi, and they never do that for Wimbledon. And the reason is because they also book 3 sponsor things and like a photo shoot with whoever the fuck.
Yeah.
And then they go and they're photographed walking in with this pair of sunglasses, and then they're photographed on the way out with this watch.
Yeah.
And then it all ends up in a fucking Instagram post. And if you did that at Wimbledon, you would be massacred by James Bond.
And also, I'm sure, yeah, it's true. And I'm also sure that other tournaments, particularly the U.S. Open and Roland Garros, roll out the red carpet a little bit for their VIPs in a way that Wimbledon doesn't do unless you're in the royal box, which is like a whole other level of celebrity. Like you have to be like British. You have to be like a British star who's like a A-lister. You know what I mean?
So the only way that you get preferential treatment at Wimbledon is former champion, British royal family.
Oh, I have a Wimbledon poster on my wall. Forgot about that.
Obviously all the British royals.
Right, like Lewis could be in the royal box, but you have to be Lewis. You know what I mean?
And anybody who has received a knighthood,
right,
or a knighthood, an MBE, or an OBE, or you need one of those. You need one of the above. Or, like, you can get in if you're, like, a certain level of British star. And, like, I think, like, I honestly, like, George and Lando are, like, pretty much, like, the borderline.
They're close.
They're like, depends on what.
Nah, you gotta win. You gotta be a winner. I think you gotta be a winner. I also think it's lame as fuck that they make women dames and not knights. I actually have, like, a serious problem with that. Which, like, considering the grand scheme of, like...
I mean, okay, but do you really want... Okay, but do you, like, really want, Maggie Smith to be Sir Maggie Smith?
Yeah, I guess you're right. But, yeah, I don't know. I think you should get to pick. I would want to be Sir rather than Dame. What does Dame even mean? Lame. Lame as hell.
So, that's the thing. I don't know if George just, like, buys tickets, because that's the thing. Like, he presumably has to connect to, like, get in.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely buys tickets, but also you have to, like, know someone to even be able to buy tickets without queuing. You know what I mean?
Sure, but he also, like, was invited to 10 Downing Street, like,
Right. No, I'm sure he knows enough people that he can get. I don't think he's out there waiting in line.
Who do we think? So Lewis obviously is the king in the paddock of, like, like tell a friend to tell a friend, right? Like, who do we think has asked Lewis for, like, not the most outrageous in terms of, like the biggest sort of, like, imposition on Lewis?
Yeah.
For, like, the most, like, random hookup.
It has to be one of the younger ones, because, like, there's no way that, like all of the older ones I feel would be too proud to ask.
Yeah, of course. Like,
probably Charles. Because I feel like Charles has no, like, social filter, so I feel like he would have no problem being like, hey, can you do that? Like, can I, you know what I mean? But Danny Rick went to the Met Gala because of Tom Brown, not because of Danny Rick.
Like, I'm trying to think of, like, because I'm trying to think, like, if you need, because, like, Lewis owns, like, a part of the Broncos. So I'm like, if like somebody wants to like do a sport, like any sort of sporting event, because I guess like you would probably think that like I don't know if like Hajar or Lawson or whatever like wants to go to like I don't know a Cowboys game. Like I don't think you need Lewis for that.
No, you can just buy Cowboys tickets.
Yeah, but even if you want to like get in a box or something, like I assume that actually could be, you know, like Visa, I assume can get you in a box at one of these fucking stadiums.
Yeah,
whatever. So it's like
those are also like for sale. You don't have to be anyone special.
So what is the most random? Because it needs to be important enough that Lewis would need you would need a Lewis-esque figure to get you in, but also not important enough that like it's kind of like yeah, sure, I can definitely do that.
Yeah.
It has to be some. It's probably the answer is probably a golf course. Let's be real. It's probably like a tee time at St.
Oh yeah, in England, yes. But I was gonna say, I feel like the golf courses of America are a little too racist to be given favors to Lewis Hamilton. Remember when
Lewis doesn't? No, Lewis wouldn't owe anybody. Like nobody would owe Lewis a favor in America. But like, I'm sure if Lewis was like, "Hey, I would like if Lando or Pierre were like, hey, I would love to play St. Andrews."
Yeah, but also if you think about it, the only
window can you like?
I feel like the only maybe Lily. I could see like Alex asking for Lily, but I feel like the only one who's like good enough and slash cares enough about golf to be asking Lewis for a favor like that is Carlos, which I could see him asking, but Carlos is also related to the Spanish royal family. So like I don't know that he
That's the other thing, yeah. Like I don't think Carlos needs to ask that favor.
Right. I think he has other people that he could call that in for that favor that are probably no offense to Lewis, but like
do we think somebody is like asked like hey, can I get in with like your doc or like your vet or something?
Yeah, you know what? That's
random Monaco connect.
Right. I will say I know that the drama around like the Monaco Yacht Club, like the harbor club of it all, like who gets to park where and like people bumping into it. I know that drama goes crazy. I know that it does. Like who gets one of those front spots? You know what I mean? Like I know that the drama is so real and I absolutely love it. You Yeah, that's true. The Monaco tennis tournament. Remember when Augusta got shit for not letting in anyone but white Protestant men and they let in Condoleezza Rice? I got to be real with you. Offensive as fuck. They're still bad, but that's got to be the funniest response to that anyone could have possibly ever come up with. They're like, "Fine."
The first black woman they could.
Right. They were like, "Fine." Also, like, just it being Condoleezza Rice is like also funny, but they were like, "Fine, we'll let Condoleezza Rice in 2 for 1, and still no Jewish people though. We gotta hold firm somewhere."
Oh my god! No, it's. I love Augusta with all my heart. It's one of the greatest courses in the world. The Masters is a very special occasion every year. It is a shame that that's such a prestigious course is in Augusta, Georgia.
Oh yeah. But also it's like that's why I'm like not too mad about the literal segregation happening because I'm like, let them all self-isolate in Augusta, Georgia. You know what I mean? It's how I feel about the Disney people. I'm like, no, you guys, this is a good thing. All of these people are going, they're living in Orlando, a place nobody would ever go, and they're congregating and they're leaving regular society alone. You know what I mean? Like if the Disney people didn't all go to Disney, then they would be right. We'd have to deal with them. I think it's beautiful. And that's kind of the same way I feel about the Augusta people. I'm like, well, let's let them be there. You know what I mean? I don't want them near me.
That's a take.
It's similar to my take of sports are so important because otherwise these people would be in government. Jerry Jones could have been the governor of Texas. Think about that.
The fuck you mean? Why did you have to do that to me?
In another life. That's why sports is so important.
What have I done to you to make you have to scare? I'm not gonna be able to sleep for a month.
He's not gonna become. He's too old now. That man's on death's door. He's knocking on heaven's door.
I know, but that concept is haunted.
Well, which is why sports are so important in our society. If we had given Donald Trump the Bills, we could have avoided all of this. I really believe that. He could have been fun. Donald Trump would have been a fun team owner because you're supposed to be evil. That's like, their job. But now we're in this room instead.
That's a horrifying concept. Why do you gotta bum me out? What did I do?
I'm sorry. But that's why, look, Flavio could have been involved in Italian politics. But
in fairness, that would probably be better for Italy than who has been in Italian politics in the last 40 years.
I don't know about that. He has killed people before,
Are we pretending Berlusconi definitely didn't?
Oh no, he for sure has as well. But imagine if there was two of them. You know what I mean? They love each other. They're besties.
So I can still hear you. I need to dip for 45 seconds to place an NFL bet. I will be right back.
Okie doke. Break Boosted is now tweeting out Lift and Coast poetry. I'm going to recite it for you because it's actually quite good. Old Ferrari had a car, L-I-C-O. And in the car, they lift and coast, L-I-C-O. Clearly a Old MacDonald Had a Farm parody. With the lift here and a coast there. Here a lift, there a coast. Everywhere the pace is lost. Old Ferrari had a plan, L-I-C-O. I think that that's beautiful, but also the fact that we've gotten to this. You know what, Chris? We don't know that that's not the case.
I think a lot of people, including one of my best friends in the world, would be much happier if they were weekends burning him, because then Michael Parsons would still be a cowboy.
Remember when Jerry Jones told that reporter that he jerked off in people's shoes?
Remember when we just let him get away with saying that?
Yeah. People? Yeah. I think about that once a week. I'm like,
how is this man still allowed to be alive?
I don't know. Bernie Ecclestone's still fucking rocking around, bringing guns on planes. Jerry Jones is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He is a Bernie Ecclestone-esque figure if Bernie Ecclestone was large and fat and from Texas. And was at a segregation rally and not against segregation. Let me tell you that right now. Pro-segregation protest he was at.
Again, he is a billion years old.
Pro-segregation. Then again, Joe Biden became the president, so who am I to judge? Just saying. Well, yeah. What was I supposed to do? Not in the primary.
I don't know. Who did you vote for in that primary?
I don't want to tell you because you're going to make fun of me.
No, you have to now.
Amy Klobuchar, listen. But also, by the time I voted, it was already.
It's fun.
By the time I voted, it was already Joe Biden. Like, it didn't matter at that point. But,
No. I thought you were, okay, I was like, I'm going to be embarrassed. That's going to be no, my weird Bernie, Liz, Amy, and Pete, I think all five of those are defensible.
Yeah.
I don't know. You didn't vote for Andrew fucking Yang, which is what I was worried you did when you were like, you're going to make fun of him.
Come on.
No, I know. But Klobuchar's fine. He's good. She treats her shit. She treats her staff like shit, so I don't know what that says about you as a boss.
Why those stories only come out about women is all I'm saying. And you know what?
That's true. She also eats salad with a fucking air go.
Yeah, that was crazy.
She's sexism and she's also insane. Those two things can be true at the same time.
And I gotta be honest with you, throwing a binder at someone, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I've never thrown anything at anyone in the workplace, okay? I'm not gonna pretend that. So maybe not a binder. That's a little bit dramatic.
So what you're saying is that, vis-a-vis workplace harassment allegations, we're on to Cincinnati?
Right. To be fair, the person that I threw a tape dispenser at has previously locked me inside of my office for 3.5 hours. So, all's fair in love and war at that point.
Have you ever seen what's the Aaron Sorkin, Tom Hanks Soviet Afghanistan movie?
Charlie Wilson. Yeah. Oh. So that's like actually how Congress works, which is terrifying.
Philip Seymour Hoffman in that movie is incredible. It's like the best performance of all time.
Who's the chick? Who's the chick in the movie? The woman from Texas, the donor.
Is it Julia Roberts?
That is maybe the best acting performance of all time.
She's great, but
wait, sorry, someone threw a fish at you.
Do you remember the first scene where we see Philip Seymour Hoffman, and he's screaming at his boss, and he just breaks the window again. He opens the door, takes the repair guy. He's like, "Oh, excuse me, I just need this for a second," and then just starts beating the shit out of the window again. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Saying, being like, I know that you gave the other guy, the job because you're fucking his wife. And then he goes, "Oh, I'm not even gonna dignify that." No, you're too busy dignifying it up her ass. And it's just like,
not the Jefferson Hotel drop. Yeah, to be fair, listen, don't throw things at people at work. That's not normal behavior. But in my defense, I did go to a literal mental hospital like 3 months after that happened. So there was a lot going on at the current moment in time, and that was not what we would call a healthy workplace. Okay. All right, at least it was on the fish counter because that makes a little. I thought someone. That would be crazy if someone
found like external fish.
Right. I thought we were BYOF here, like bring our own fish. The fish counter, at least that like makes a little bit of sense. I was like, that's the fact. If you brought your own fish to throw at someone, I honestly do think you should be put in jail for like not a long time, but like maybe a week to like really sit and reflect with your actions.
So we're not doing a West Wing corner. We are doing Sorkin corner. Can I complain about my least favorite thing about Charlie Wilson's War and the worst thing Sorkin has ever done?
Well, another good woman that he wrote, by the way. It's almost like Julia Roberts made her good. Anyway, continue.
So, like, he does not make clear that the first, 90 minutes of that movie take place over the course of 4 years. Because the initial scene in that movie is in, 1980 or 1981.
No, the timeline is very confusing if you're not really, really tapped in on the details of what was happening in Afghanistan from 1980 to 1985.
And then at the end of the movie, they actually do use time, they use the footage and the timestamps to make clear the passage of time. However, if you're only paying attention, you think it's been a year or so, not even. And then there's just randomly a David Bowie song from 1984 in this movie.
Yeah.
And I would just like to say, "Let's Dance." Well, a banger. When he's having the fucking belly dancer distract whoever the fuck.
Yeah.
Let's Dance should not have been playing. Or you should have properly communicated that this has been going on now for 4 years, which you have not done.
Yes. I feel like I feel like Aaron Sorkin thought he was making it.
Whoa. He returned the fish?
Oh,
What are you?
no, he returned with the fish, which is that's the craziest possible outcome of this whole situation. Like, I
That's somehow even worse. That's worse than BYO. Bring your own fish.
Yeah, because I would kind of respect if someone just like walked around strapped with a fish just in case. Um, that is I'm very sorry that happened to you. That's crazy.
I'm gonna be thinking about that forever.
Oh, I need to know like what that person's up to right now. Like I'm like, what is going on?
They better be institutionalized is the answer.
Right. I feel like I will say I feel like they felt like they made it clear the passage of time in that movie by like alluding to or talking about very niche uh political events both in the United States and like foreign policy ones. Like I got it that time was passing, but in hindsight most like that's not something that most people have a hard and fast date on, right?
Yeah. Also, Philip Seymour Hoffman bugging the scotch, and then Tom Hanks being like, just like, being like, do you also have a camera on there? Being like, do you also have a camera on there? It's like, no, don't be paranoid. And it's like, well, maybe I'd be less paranoid if you didn't bug my scotch. Even though I would just like to point out that Philip Seymour Hoffman ends up being the reason that Rudy Giuliani can indict Charlie Wilson. Because don't forget, the ASA or the AUSA doing the investigation was Rudy Giuliani. Absolutely wild.
The Forrest Gump of American politics, derogatory.
Forrest Gump is one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Absolutely terrible. The fact that Tom Hanks won 2 Oscars in back-to-back years, and I hate both of the movies he won them for.
What's the other one?
Philadelphia.
Yeah. No.
Philadelphia thinks it's a really profound statement about, like, and I get that, like, I can't judge it by modern standards.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a hard watch.
I haven't watched it since I was a kid. Like, not a kid, but a teenager.
I had to watch that in grade 11 law class. And, like, I think every third word in that movie is faggot.
Ooh.
Again, well, because, like, that's what they keep calling Tom Hanks, like, privately. Again, this was made in 1994, and the is that Denzel has to be homophobic.
Right, and they're not trying to. Right, they're not trying. It's like it's like trying to take the N word out of whatchamacallit, Huckleberry Finn. It's like, well, I fear the racism is like part of the point, but that doesn't make it enjoyable to watch happen on screen.
Right. I have like a grand objection to, oh my god, the Alice Walker book. It starts with like the black girl being word I can't use on this platform. No, The Color Purple. They made The Color Purple into a musical. They made it into a musical, and then they made a movie of the musical that was Warner Brothers was promoting it as a uplifting family movie to watch over Christmas.
I mean, listen, I like the Color Purple. I think it's really, really good.
The scene of that book is the child being, like attacked. I
mean, I think The Color Purple is like a very capital G good book, but
very, and it sucks that Alice Walker's fucking nuts.
I to call that an uplifting family film is, unless they drastically altered the plot, is
foot. Get a gap,
uplifting. Also, you shouldn't there's a lot of sexual violence for that to be marketed toward children in my personal, not to be puritanical, but I think it's an important story. I think that
it should be required reading.
Right. But an uplift
the literal first scene in the book
of an uplifting family film is an objectively insane way to describe The Color Purple. That's
I got ads for it for legitimately 6 straight weeks on Spotify between every podcast.
Well, I mean, they're currently marketing Wuthering Heights as like a sexy dark romance, so there is truly no end to the depravity of movie studios. So, Jacob Elordi is Heathcliff, and I don't care. Everyone on Twitter can be like, "This is just English lit nerds being insufferable." Casting not just a white man, but Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff.
Yeah, it's a choice.
The entire plot of the book, by the way, doesn't make sense if Heathcliff is white. Like, the entire plot of the book.
Okay, nerd.
It's not nerdy to know that it's the plot of the book. Plot of the book is that he has been forced to live in a cupboard under the stairs. Not to Harry Potter reference. Sorry, I just read this thing about Harry Potter. He's been forced to live in a hole in the ground because he is the bastard son of the guy. But if he was just a regular bastard son, it would be fine. They'd just send him off to London and it would all be good. The point is that he's half black, and that's why he also, I will say, Catherine stabbing him with a fork is the only instance of domestic violence I'll ever defend. she asked for stabbing him.
Your English lit major is really gonna get right now.
The book makes objectively no sense. If it's not like she didn't write, it's not about being saved by a man. She's saying she escaped the fate of Ophelia because Ophelia was doomed by a man. That's the point. The point is that she's calling Joe Alwyn Hamlet, which is a hilarious joke. But anyway, back to Wuthering Heights. Yeah, and also what pisses me off is everyone's like, "Oh, like everyone gets so uptight about these things." Well, if you want, the reason they adopt these classic novels is because they want the bump of the already huge, well-established audience for that IP. And so you can't then turn around and get mad when people are like, "You're butchering this." You know what I mean? If you're going to adopt a classic novel, you are apt to receive some criticism if you make Heathcliff white.
Yeah.
Let's go back and let's go back and fucking I can't even. Let's go back and make what's his name in Huckleberry Finn? Let's make him white. Sure. Why not? Let's do a Harriet Tubman biopic where she's white. That makes sense. Like, what are we fucking doing here?
Who's the director? Fuck, why do I not remember her name? Who's the director of Barbie? Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
Somebody, a movie podcaster I love.
Is she directing this Wuthering Heights?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking, no, but you say Harriet Tubman, but make her white, made me think of the funniest joke I ever heard on a podcast, which is, hey, we shouldn't be mad that Greta Gerwig, didn't get nominated for Barbie. Don't worry, she'll just get an Oscar for some biopic of Susan B. Anthony in 20 years. And I'm like, that is what the Academy is going to do. They are going to give the great female director Like, that's what they're going to give her the Oscar for, you know?
You know how I feel about biopics. I'm anti.
I think biopics.
Enough.
Acting in a biopic should be.
We need a 10-year ban on. I think we need a 10-year ban on biopics. Enough. If I have to watch one more 4-hour sepia toned nonsense where a man discovers that his actions have consequences, I'm gonna blow my brains out.
There's a better solution, okay? Make best acting in a biopic its own separate Oscars category.
Yes, and yeah.
And just stop this, like, oh, I'm 47
and I want,
deserve an Oscar, and I haven't gotten one yet.
Yeah.
So I'll just go do a biopic of a quote unquote great man and win an Oscar.
It's the new World War II movie.
Cillian Murphy, Rami Malek.
It's the new World War II movie. It really is, and like enough.
How many people have won Best Actor for playing Churchill?
Oh, I don't know, a lot probably.
Exactly. But that's the thing. You kill the biopic because the only reason that actors want to pick these roles is because they would like to win their Oscars finally.
Right. Enough.
So just simply make acting in a biopic or acting, make impersonating a real person a separate Oscars category.
Yeah.
Mean that you cannot be nominated for Best Actor or Best Actress. Or the supportings.
Yeah.
Shove them all in one mega category.
Yeah.
Dispose of them all, and you will kill
the biopic.
All of these, like, very obviously, we would like to win all of the Oscars, you know.
Yeah.
And you kill it. You kill it dead.
Yeah. I'm like, enough with the biopics. It's genuinely too much. Enough.
Do this with the Emmys as well.
And I can't do the sepia toned bullshit. I can't. It's why the lighting, not even the lighting, the like color correction of biopics is always so fucking weird. At least they're not dark. I'll say that. That's my number one pet peeve. I feel like that's more of a problem in TV than movies, but I guess we just forgot that like lighting it can be a thing. They like get some of these I'm like just throw in a fucking ring light. Like
So what you're saying was that the last season of Game of Thrones was definitely your favorite?
Yeah. Well, and that's a great point. The audio mixing nowadays across the board is terrible. Like you'll have a Game of Thrones is a great example. You'll have the fight scene that's like volume 1 billion, but then I have to turn my volume to the very max it can go to even try to make out any of the dialogue. But then, God forbid, a dragon roars because my speakers are getting blown out. You know what I mean? The audio mixing shit, color correction shit, lighting shit. And you want to know what it is? It's studios that don't want to pay for like the professional trade workers that like do these things, right? They're doing AI audio mixing. That's what it is.
Well, and a lot of these shows are no longer filming in LA, which means they don't have to pay IATSE members real wages to do these things, and they're just paying,
non-union.
They're just paying like random.
Canada doesn't make them pay union workers. I feel like that's so surprising to me.
Oh, Canada does. Yeah, Canada basically operates on essentially whatever SAG, WGA, DGA, and IATSE. Like we're basically the same, but like Europe, there is definitely a race to the bottom in Europe of standards.
Yeah. Well, no, because even it used to be Georgia, and Georgia's like a little bit worse than California, but the union stuff is still there. It's just like the pay rate is different.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Europe is the problemo as usual. But you know what? Shout out to us for not.
The workers make the same. The workers actually make the same whether they're in Georgia or LA, but
yeah, but they're
subsidizes so much of it.
Yeah.
The the studio cost per worker is way lower, but it's not like the people make any less.
Yeah.
They make quite a lot more by being in Georgia and not LA.
Right. Well, yeah, because they don't have to live in LA.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all just so, I'm like, I think that's, yeah, the TV is unfortunately kind of trash at the current moment in time.
What? You're not invested in who may or may not die the 5th time Grey's Anatomy has blown up the hospital?
I will never, and this is a promise, you will never get me to talk badly about my Lord and Savior, Shonda Rhimes. Never. And that's a promise. I love Shonda Rhimes. I love a terrible network. What's it called? It's not periodical. I'm thinking of another word.
Procedural.
Yes, thank you. You will. I love that. My girl, you stay away from Shonda Rhimes. Get behind me, Shonda. She is not the problem.
But you don't watch Grey's Anatomy.
Well, that's because blood makes me physically ill. That's not because of Shonda Rhimes. I watched Scandal. I watched How to Get Away with Murder. I watch all the Shonda shows. I just can't do the medical. I can barely.
Why I watched How to Get Away with Murder beyond the first 2 episodes?
Sure.
Because the gay dude hot.
And that's critical. You can't have an ugly gay dude in a procedural. Like, come on, what are we doing here? There shouldn't be ugly people in general.
Remember the episode where he fucks the assistant to find out who the leak was,
yeah.
And then the assistant just jumps out the window to his death.
Yeah, that was.
Oh.
It shouldn't be funny, but it is. What do? You know what I mean? Like, that is.
Shonda is not responsible for the current problems of Grey's Anatomy.
But I'll tell you this about Grey's Anatomy. Well lit. You can see them. You can see them.
No,
more than a lot of TV shows can say.
The funny thing about Grey's is just nobody wants to cancel it. It still presumably makes a lot of money for ABC, but 2.5 of the original cast are still there.
Yeah, I mean it's.
Pompeo shows up 4 times a season.
Yeah.
They just made her have COVID for an entire half season because this was back when she was still technically on the show full time. Because she was just you have 2 weeks where I'm available to film.
Yeah.
So just why don't we just put me in a coma? Why don't we put me in a COVID-induced coma? And you can just have a static, you can just have a body double be the one actually lying there for the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, I can't really speak on Grey's because again, I can barely go to a real hospital without fainting from a panic attack. I feel no need to watch a TV show about one. But they, but, and I was kind of having hope with that gay firefighter show, but now they're queer baiting us and I don't like them. They're not even really queer baiting because the other one had a full-on boyfriend for half an entire season, but I will not watch that show until those 2 firefighters kiss, and that's a promise. I will not as someone who lived through Supernatural, hashtag I'm a survivor, I will not.
Was the show really? So was Supernatural? Was the show really implying that they were gonna fuck eventually?
So Supernatural, it's a little bit more complicated of a case. So because
aren't they brothers in the show?
No. They although people also anyway, that's why AO3 was invented so that people could write fanfic about those 2 brothers fucking, which is crazy work.
Wait, whoa.
Yeah.
The Supernatural queer baiting thing and was not Jensen Ackles and Dean from Gilmore Girls? They were not.
No.
That they were queer baiting with?
It was him and Castiel, the angel. And so I stopped watching after like season 7, 8. My brother is like the world's number one Supernatural fan, so he was locked in the whole time. And my straight bro ass borderline Unabomber brother, with how offline he is, was at the end of that show calls me up a second after it ended. I'm seeing everything on Tumblr. He's like, I cannot believe they did that. Like, this is homophobic. I'm calling ABC. I'm like, I don't think you can do that. And he was so riled up. So that shows, because for me, I'm like, I personally feel that a lot of the queer baiting happened like around the show, in like the panels, they would talk about it, they would whatever. Like, it wasn't, I don't think it went all like, it wasn't like a Sherlock where they went full bore on like in implying it in the show. I think it can definitely be read that way very easily. And there are certain points where I think it does veer into that territory. But also, they were getting Comic-Con panels and being like, yeah, they're totally in love. You know what I mean? And I also, but like,
Yeah, but the firefighters are doing that too.
right. And that's what
I will say. It is a great experience. I don't give a fuck.
But my brother consumed none of that. He doesn't know about any of that. He doesn't know about Tumblr.
Even he was like, "Wow, they definitely should have been gay for each other." Wow. That's how you know you fucked up.
And he was like, because at the end, this is so bad. So the context you need to know for this, he was like, because at the end, this is so bad. So the context you need to know for this is that people come back from the dead 950 times in this show. Dean has died like 4 times. Like, Castiel rescued him from hell. It's a whole, anyway, I gripped your arm and I raised you from perdition. Anyway, people come back from the dead. That's very standard. And it's always like, oh no, like this is going to be the time we can't do it. People come back from the dead. Dean gets sent, so he's confessing his love to Castiel. Castiel says nothing. And then Dean gets taken, not to hell, because you can get back from hell. We've done that a couple times. He gets sent to super hell, the gay guy. Right after confessing his love to Castiel, and Castiel just says nothing. And then the next episode of the show, the final episode of the whole season, everybody's just like, yeah, Dean's dead. Like, it's like, they don't even try to get him back. And also, my brother was like, they sent the gay guy to super hell. Like, they sent the gay guy to super hell. Like, he's not, I mean, obviously my brother is not, he's a liberal, he's not a homophobe or anything like that, but he's not really like tapped into like the woke, like, you know, he just not have
the woke mind virus.
No, and he doesn't go on the internet, you know what I mean? So the fact that he was like, they sent the gay guy to super hell, like, because that was my first reaction as well. I was like, are you kidding me? Also, who are you trying to appeal to that? Because this show is objectively demonic by Catholic standards. I mean, there are many demons in the show. One of the brothers fucks a demon for a while. She was really hot. Anyway,
Jensen or Jared?
Jared. They
just like when he fucks Rory. You not seeing Gilmore Girls is surprising to me.
I've tried. I can't. Rory, I don't like any. I need to at least like a character, and I'm willing to like a slightly. You're talking to a Blair Waldorf defender, so if you're too annoying for me, Gilmore Girls is just Gossip Girl in Connecticut if the show was only about Serena. So I'm not a big. I keep being like, and once every like 5 years, I'll be like, I gotta give Gilmore Girls a real shot, and then I watch like 10. Oh yeah, no, I don't care if something's demonic, like even a little bit, but I would have fucked that demon too, real, but.
I mean, do you not like the grandparents at least?
No, I love the grandparent. I love the grandma. That she's the best one in the whole show.
I mean, the grandparents are my favorite
And
because
I like Lorelai, but it's also I nothing pisses me off more than like I come from generational wealth, but I won't take any of my parents' money. Like, grow up. Like, are you kidding me?
but does the fact that she got pregnant at 16 and like made something of herself like not
No, yeah, I like
appeal to you?
no, it does, and I like her, but I'm also like, here's the thing. It's like the whole money thing, it's like I get it that like that money comes with strings attached. It always does. But she lets her mom boss her around anyway. So I'm like, you might as well take the cash. Like, it's not like she's removed herself from the influence of her parents. And yeah, she did take.
She did up until the point at which she needed private school tuition money.
Right. And
Which is like, I will say, the gimmick of Gilmore Girls, because that's like always the thing for me. It's like, I need to understand. I need any form of entertainment to explain to me why we're starting the show when we're starting the show, right? Like, because if you're going to start it at a sort of random place, like, and I don't really get why the West Wing is just like, we're just going to start on a random, like, at a random time in the first year, you know?
yeah.
It kind of makes no sense. But, like, it does make sense when you understand that Sorkin's plan was to always go back to the first campaign.
Yeah.
Right?
I also think I actually agree. I actually think that that was a smart choice because I get why he did that. He wanted to establish the rhythm of like the administration, which the show is mostly going to be about. And if you start, even if you start at him getting elected or you start at inauguration day, there's a ton of process you need to get through before you can really get to like the Bartlett administration, if that makes sense.
No, that's true. I will say, but like, you know, the hook of Gilmore Girls being like, you know, she's out of ideas, out of options, and she has to, you know, come. It's the Arctic Monkey song, like crawling back to you.
Yeah.
You know, like it's at least a good premise that sets up the sort of like the chaos and the sort of like miscommunication of it all, but also like sets up very real and like very well done, like sort of like because they're frenemies, but they also fight a lot, and like you know, it's very obvious by the end it gets it's getting better, but that makes the fighting worse when they fight.
Yeah.
Because they like have earned a measure of affection.
Yeah.
Right. I will say the moment like but the fun thing about that is they also made the grandparents different. That's the big thing, right? Because her father was like always had a slightly better relationship with Lorelai.
Yeah.
Right? Mean was never quite as like plotty, schemy, right?
Yeah.
And was always like a little bit more sort of, you know, like was always sort of nicer, better, whatever. And that sort of created the circumstances and conditions for like a lot of interesting stuff, both between the grandparents and Lorelai, but also between Emily and Richard.
Yeah. I guess I just have, yeah. I'm also just like, the way, if my parents were wealthy, I'd be living in a wing of their home, not having a job. Like,
would you not? But here's the thing: would you have married the guy who at 16 got you pregnant if that's what they wanted?
I mean, right. I get it. I respect Lorelai for that decision. I'm proud of her for that. Unfortunately, going back and looking at 16-year-old me, the level of mental control that my mom has over me as like a 30-year-old adult, I would have done Because my mom also is smarter than that. She's not like the kind of person, she's not going to be like, you need to do this. She is going to like make me believe that it's my own decision, if that makes sense. But also, I mean,
Well, wouldn't you have just been Catholic guilted into marrying him because, like, we don't, you know?
no, she would have had my grandmother ask me one time, and I would have been like, I would have crumbled like a wet leaf. I would still, I mean, my grandmother has since passed on, but like, I'll never forget. When um, I used to go to like, you do your confirmation, but I used to have to go to like Catholic like classes like after school. And I really, what's crazy is that like, they never really, other than abortion, they never brought up, like, I didn't even, until I was an adult, I had no idea the Catholic Church was homophobic because there were so many people, like, the youth group leader was like a gay guy who, and not like, it wasn't a secret, like he brought a man to prom with him, like, I just, that right over my head. um but well, and also like my grandmother wasn't homophobic, so I think that's also part of it. But the I'll never forget it. I went to like whatever, some like teen group thing that I was forced to go to, and they were like talking, they're like, we're gonna like each pick a song, and we're gonna talk about like the sins that are in the song. And I was like, ooh, an English assignment, so fun. So I picked a Taylor Swift song and I pointed out the sins. But like, the thing that they tell you is that like everybody sins and it's normal and you just need to apologize to God and you're good. And but they were like, then they go on this whole girl, I'm not gonna say her government name, but I remember it. Was like, and I left that class, and this is also like debut Taylor, so keep in mind, like that's crazy. Um, and I went home and I said, I'm quitting the church. This is the line in the sand that I draw. You can say dogs don't go to heaven, which I also got kicked out of class for arguing about. Um, Taylor Taylor Swift is a line too far. And I was like, I don't believe in a lot of this. I was like, I don't believe in the church. I think this is all bullshit. Like, I think abortion is good, and so do you. Like, why are you making me do this to my mom? And I was like, you can't make me go. And she was like, yeah, no problem. She's like, I want you to believe your own things. I want you to make up your own mind about things in this world. You can quit tomorrow, but I'm not telling your grandmother for you. You have to tell her yourself. My ass is back next week. I didn't have the sign. I did not have the sign. Me and my mom would go to church on Sunday, say hi to my grandmother in the front, sit down for like 10 minutes, and then go to Panera and then meet my grandmother at her house after. That is, I am going to hell. That is so. So yeah, I probably would have been guilted into marrying him at 110%.
Okay. We've been live for a while. Last thing. Oh, guess what? I just am seeing an ad for the Gay Firefighter show. Or I guess the spin-off for the Gay Firefighter show, because there's also now gay country. Now there's now country firefighters.
Unless they're making out, you're not going to see me there.
How are you feeling about the Patriots tonight?
You know what?
You think they can put up a fight against the Bills?
Yeah, but also probably not.
Do you think they can score 21 points?
That's a lot of points.
The Bills defense.
Yeah.
Tagovailoa put up 21 points on Thursday Night Football.
You're right. All right. So I'm gonna take.
Saints put up like 20 points last week.
The who?
The Saints.
Oh, I thought you said the C's. I was like, that is not a football team I've heard of. I
21 American points is all I need them to put up.
Yeah, I'll take the over on that. I think they will. The Bills' defense is bad, but
yeah, and also like I don't know, 8.5. Like I'm like pretty convinced that this is gonna. Wouldn't stun me if it's like a classic like 21-10 with like 4 minutes to go and Josh Allen's getting the ball back, but he gets the ball at the end of the second quarter and the beginning of the third.
yeah.
And it's, by the time you get the ball back, it's 24-21 Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of how I see this playing out. I don't know. I have faith. The Patriots are not like as terrible as they have been, but
Well, I think Drake May is like actively pretty good.
yeah. And I mean, I think that they've like turned it around slightly, but not.
Who does the Bengals even play this week? That's how irrelevant the Bengals are without Joe Burrow. Do they play the Lions? Oh, they play the Lions later. Oh God, I'm so sorry for you, Chris.
Free my boy.
I'm so sorry.
Free my boy, that poor sweet angel.
There was like a mini effort to cancel Josh Allen.
Why?
I guess on like Twitter for being a Republican.
Well,
and I'm like, this man's from Wyoming.
Right.
What were you expecting?
Right. No offense, but you thought the football player from Wyoming was going to be a Democrat?
Look, I am just quite happy that Joe Burrow is obviously a Democrat, and we can take what we can get.
Done.
I will take 1 to 1.5. I don't know about Lamar. I will take one of the big three quarterbacks whose politics we know.
Dub.
Being a Democrat. I will take 1 out of 3. That's fine.
Dub. Huge dub.
Because, we don't know about Lamar, and you would think black guy, you would think Democrat.
You never know. You never know.
But I also think he's, vaguely unvaccinated for COVID. So,
not a great sign.
So, bit of mixed signals there from Lamar. Yeah, no. Burrow just being the problem with Burrow is he's from Ohio.
Yeah. Hey, so are the Kelsey brothers, who are both especially by NFL standards, pretty liberal.
I just mean he's not going to leave the Bengals. He truly is. Who's the Sammy? You know Sammy on here, right? The Ferrari fan.
Yes.
Yeah. Now I feel so bad for her because she really does just cheer. If she's a Bengals fan as well, and she really does just cheer for the two princes.
Being a Ferrari Bengals fan.
Well, no, because it's just the same thing. Burrow won't leave Cincinnati, and Sherelle won't leave Ferrari.
Yeah.
The two princes who won't leave.
I feel like the Bengals you don't want, because I feel like it's less transferable in the NFL than it is in you are dragooned to your football team at birth, and you don't get to switch around. I feel.
I mean,
unless you aren't dragooned to one at birth, and then you get the benefit picking. That's fair enough. But if I have to be a Patriots fan. If I woke up tomorrow and was I'm a I don't know, fun Florida Panthers fan. That's not a fucking Jacksonville Jaguars is what I meant. That's actually not how that works at all.
So, I imagine that if you ever were to find a man and were to decide that you wanted kids, which I know is something that you do not have said before that you're not about, but
no, I'm not anti it. I'm not pro it. I'm not I want to have kids, but I'm also not I will not have kids. I think I would do it if I found myself in the correct situation. I just doubt that I will find myself in that situation in the next 10 years. Because time is ticking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there is a certain amount of the conversation about how you raise the kids from a sports fandom perspective.
Oh, my children will be raised Boston sports fans. Period. Okay, this is crazy, but genuinely, there are some. I don't know that I could marry. There are some that would be okay. If you were a Cardinals fan or something, whatever.
You can't be a fan of a team that has a serious history with your team.
If yeah, I couldn't marry a Jets fan.
You could marry a Blue Jays fan. You can't marry a Yankees fan.
Yeah. I don't care that much about baseball, but I would never marry a Yankees fan because of just on principle alone.
I mean, is the principle just Bronx phobia?
It's because I'm racist against Italian people. If I'm okay. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Only Italian people from New York. But the no, it's just the Yankee. My family would never accept it.
Yeah, of course.
The Yankees.
The funniest
You could be a Mets fan. You could be a Mets fan.
Well, yeah, but nobody gives a shit about the Mets.
Right. That's why. Because also, like, or it's like, how passionate are you about, like, I don't think I could marry like an Eagles fan. Weirdly, I feel like I could do a Bills fan. But my only concern is, again, like, our children will be. But I also think if I was gonna have kids, I would pretty much only raise my children in New England. So we would be living there anyway. So I feel like I'd have an advantage sports team wise.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like because now the one now here's the thing that I would have. I guess Boston has 4 teams.
Yep.
And like it's sort of like all 4 of the teams are like either good or prestigious.
Yeah.
Right? I know of people who have negotiate who prioritize certain sports over the others, who have literally said I will adopt your football team and the kids can be your football team, but I want the hockey team.
That's I respect that. It's an important,
especially because in Canada, like our the football team that you pick in Canada is like oftentimes like a very like weird, funny thing.
Yeah, you guys just have to pick one because you don't have any. Well, American football teams.
Yeah, yeah. Like we just kind of like like I'm a Packers fan because my family are Packers fans, but like like you pick like some people just pick based like a bunch of people are Buffalo fans because it's close, right? A bunch of people are Pittsburgh fans because that's also not that far. A bunch of people are Detroit fans because that's not far. A bunch of people are Seahawks fans at West.
Hey, don't call Canada Snow Mexico. That is very offensive to the nation of Mexico, okay? Continue.
Remember that I like unironically told you to fuck off for that yesterday?
Oh, yes.
I was genuinely mad at you.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're not.
Nope, not even a little bit.
Don't lie to me. Okay, so we're just not calling that pass. So we're just now calling defense pass interference anymore. Okay, cool. But no, it's just very funny experiencing like that. I would love to like sit through because it's like I know people from Montreal who are like, honestly, I don't really give a shit. Like I like football. I care about football. I like watching football. I am not gonna like die on the hill of like whatever team I picked because I like the player who's not even on the team anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good one. You have to.
However, if you think that we're raising our children as fucking St. Louis Blues, I will raise. No, St. Louis is a bad example, but if yeah, you might want them to be Broncos fans or Eagles fans. However, they will be Canadiens fans.
That's yeah. See, I stand for, like, even I mean, I don't really care about like basketball or baseball, but I stand 10 toes down behind all 4 because I also feel like you need. Like, I know people that are like Boston sports fans, except for the fact that they're Lakers fans instead of Celtics fans, and I'm like, I look down on you. But they're like,
what the hell?
You would be shocked at the audacity that people have. But I feel like it's just very different from F1 because, like, with F1, it's like, I don't know, like, what am I gonna stan a car company? Like,
that's the thing. That's the thing that people are like, it should be about the teams, not the drivers. This new generation of fans, all about the drivers. Yeah. Yeah, you mean the people that I can get emotionally invested in, the stories I can get emotionally invested in? If you want to picture it, it's
because it's the difference is that the football teams and like hockey, whatever, are geographically based, right? So it's like the people of that city, everything, whatever. Like, again, like a car company.
You get a team because it's the city that you live in, so you get to go to games.
Right. Right.
So it's the experience as much as anything, right?
And also, I don't think it's a coincidence that in F1, the only one that has a considerable fan base of the team and not just like the drivers within it is the one that is the most geographically like tied to a certain area. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But here's a three here of the major car companies, right? Here's what you're cheering for, okay? An energy drinks company, incompetent Italian fail sons, Nazi enablers.
I wouldn't say I think it's generous to say enabler, if I'm honest.
Okay. Sure.
Never forget the Enzo Ferrari. Me and Dev went to the Ferrari museum or whatever, and they do a little screening of this like backstory movie about Enzo Ferrari. And they're like, when he returned from the war, me and her we're like,
oh no. I was saying Mercedes Benz for the thing. For the
oh no, I know. I mean, they were just fully I mean, it's not like technically their fault they nationalized all industry, but like let's be real, they were part of the Nazi regime. That's
yeah. But so that yeah, three is that. And then four is the Bahrain government.
hell yeah.
Five is you've got the other energy drinks company. You've got another German car company, so aka Nazi enablers. In Audi. Who else we got popping around the grid? Random Americans. Okay, who cares? And then, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I just
Williams is fine, but that's the other thing. Is like Williams at least, everyone kind of likes Williams because it's like a thing. And then here's the 10th team. Oh, and then
gambling.
And then like French people.
Oh yeah, the worst of them. Oh, the worst of them all, truly. They.
And also, do we really think the people behind Renault did not collaborate with?
I was gonna say hashtag collaboration. I feel like everyone remembers. Oh yeah, I will. But they, yeah. I mean, also like I guess I just don't. I find it difficult to. I just don't care that much, and I feel like even when it comes to like the Haas, I should be moved by that. I recognize that I should because also Haas is it's owned by it's pretty unique in that it's owned by like a person and not like an evil venture capital firm, you know what I mean? But the I just don't like I just don't care about America in this context. You know what I mean? Like this isn't the Olympics. Like nothing about it gets my like patriotism. I just don't care about America in this context. You know what I mean? Like this isn't the Olympics. Like nothing about it gets my like patriotism moving. And I really feel like that it's their obsession with like and we need an American driver, an American team, and America is the people who would be moved by that, who care about rooting for an American, aren't watching Formula One. There's many American racing series that they would watch, that someone who cares about there being American representation would if I cared about that, I'd watch NASCAR or IndyCar.
Or IMSA.
Right. Or any of the other billion racing series that there are in America. Like I would if I cared about that, I'd be out at the track in my hometown, like watching degenerate rednecks like borderline kill each other, which I am. I do like that. But the they one time like I'm like friends with it's actually like my friend's brother that like races there, and he was like, oh come on, like you got to come give it a try, like you're so into racing. And I'm like, oh no, I can't drive, I don't think you understand. Grave miscalculation on their part. It's like the Americans that are into this is not the demographic of people, though that demographic of people that cares about like rah America would never in 1 billion years watch a snooty European racing series.
Well, okay. So I have realized something very important. I legitimately thought so. I did not realize that Cars 2 is like straight up just an F1
Oh yeah.
thing. So I think I've realized that I am just gonna have to like. I think I now have to watch the Cars movies.
Oh, there's so much. When you really start thinking about the Cars cinematic universe, it goes deep. It goes deep because
Is there a car prophet Muhammad? There's a car pope. So does that mean there was a car prophet Muhammad?
I would have to actually let me go back and rewatch and let's just do a full podcast where we just dive deep into like the geopolitical reality of the Cars world. I would absolutely love to do that because there was a car Roman because in order for there to be a car Jesus, which there must be because there's a car Pope, and then on the nose of the Pope mobile, it's a cross. So the cross is still the symbol of the Cars Catholic Church, and the so that means that car Jesus was crucified by the car Roman Empire. And
I think Cars was like 2006. Lewis is just simply like he wasn't. I don't think he was in F1 when Cars came out, and he probably wasn't when Cars 2 was developed.
Like, no, he's in Cars 3.
Okay.
He's in it, and his car has a little tooth gap. It's so cute.
Okay, so then it clearly wasn't like a racism thing. It was just like when it was developed versus when he was.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like, because animated movies, there's like a big lag time with animated movies from like conception to.
How do the cars fuck? That's what I want to know. Because clearly there's some element of sexual drive within these cars because they all think that Sally is super hot. Which shout out to my grandfather. So he died earlier this year, and we're like going through all of his stuff. And he had on his side of the table, my grandmother has all of this Jesus merch, right? Like she's got Madonna's, she's got she's her side of the bed, Jesus. You know what was on my grandfather's side of the bed? Sally the Porsche. This is like my favorite thing that I own because of that. I was like, "Can I have the Sally plushie?" And everyone was like, "That's what you want out of this whole house of like treasures? Like you want the Sally the Porsche plushie? Like sure, you can have it." But
I'm really mad I never got out of my grandparents' house.
What?
They had these really nice ashtrays, like big ashtrays, glass ashtrays.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to ask for them because I didn't want my mother to think that I wanted them because I wanted to smoke.
Wait, it's so funny that you bring that up because so my grandmother gave this to me that I now use to hold lipsticks, but because Connie got me the Enchante Chalet ashtray, but she got me this, and I was like, this is like Waterford crystal. It's so nice. And I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. I mean, I was in my head, I was like, kind of weird of my grandmother to give me an ashtray. Like my dad smokes weed. Like it's not a big they know, like my family knows, but like not my grandmother. Like I was like, that is really like out of pocket of her to give me an ashtray, but like, okay, like no problem. And so I'm using it as an ashtray this whole time, right? I go to my grandmother's house one day, like around Easter, there's a bunch of these filled with candy. I was like, "Oh, I'm just a piece of shit." That's actually never mind. Never mind.
Because like no, for me, because it's like those like they were big enough that they could essentially be like coasters and like they were like an iconic part of because there were like 4,000 of them around the house because my grandfather was a fucking chain smoker. Right?
Yeah.
But I really wanted like a couple of them, but like I never like I couldn't bring myself to ask because
yeah,
I did not want her to think that meant that as an 11-year-old I wanted to smoke.
Right. No, I do feel that. I also got there's a it's like a trinket display case, but it's like old mahogany and it has double curved glass like in the front. It's like beautiful Like they got it for like $500 in the 50s and is now worth probably like more than I could ever even begin to comprehend. But and my mom was like, "You can have it." But the thing is, well, first of all, I'm not even gonna worry about it until after I move because I don't want to have to transport it here and then transport it. But like driving it here from Connecticut, I would just be so nervous because if that glass breaks, replacing it is gonna be like $10,000. So I don't got that kind of cash for fucking glass. You know what I mean? Um, so
I did get the pristine, like Turkish, I don't even know what material, marble maybe, like chessboard. Ooh. I did get that, at least. That was we were able to snag that, so
yeah. Well, and my grandmother gave me this necklace and this. Well, she gave me this ring for my birthday a while ago when I turned 18. But I have a bunch of. I have like pearls. What?
You still have it? That's awesome.
I'll be honest with you. I did at one point lose it and have to secretly replace it for myself, but I'm just gaslighting it's the same ring. I'll be honest with you. I did at one point lose it and have to secretly replace it for myself, but I'm just gaslighting it's the same ring. It's the thought that counts. Okay, I'm sorry. It was not even the worst part is I didn't even lose it like being a degenerate piece of shit. I was just showering.
It wasn't in your frat house?
No, although one time, okay, so my grandmother gave me this really nice pair of diamond earrings and I wore them out to the club and I lost one of them and I had to replace it for $800. And I was a waitress at this time. Like I did not have $800, but I was so terrified of like admitting that I lost this and like disappointing my grandmother in any way that I truly gave every dime I had to replace it. But no, this one I was showering and this was like not that long ago actually. I was showering and I was washing my hair and it got caught because it stays on my hand really well, but it got caught in my hair and like it ripped off in the shower and went down the drain and it was gone forever.
Curtains.
It was tragic, tragic, tragic. But it's the same thing to me personally. But yeah, I have a couple of other things, but that's mostly my main get is the where are you, Sally? Shout out Sally the Porsche. I love her. But yeah, we should do we should independently watch the Cars films and do a deep dive because so they all want to fuck Sally and there are baby cars and so I just want to know logistically speaking how these cars are fucking because they are, I think.
So do we want to find a definitely legal form of watching the F1 movie and actually review that at some point? Because we did promise each other like 2 years ago we would watch the movie together.
Yeah, we can. I know
TikTok, like, does your FYP just turn into like clips of like TV shows and movies?
No, not really.
Okay, well, so I have seen like most of the real racing scenes of this movie already. I don't think we need to watch it, honestly. Okay. I think it's bad enough that we can just be like, they did a really dumb premise. Yeah. Like, the plot of the movie is that the team is like getting sold from out under them if they don't win a race. And so every race, their entire strategy is just go really long and have one of them commit a crime to cause a safety car.
So Crashgate every race?
Essentially, yes.
No point. I might be coming back around on the plot because that's objectively a very funny thing for when you consider that Lewis produced that movie. I might be back in on the plot. I might be.
Like I think Brad Pitt like just intentionally like drives into like one of the like the like braking, like how far you are, how soon you are to brake. Like he just drives into 3 of those in a row for no good reason, just to create a safety car.
Hell yeah.
And it like doesn't work until Abu Dhabi, and then it works in Abu Dhabi for some dumb reason.
Not crash gate every race being the strategy.
No, but that's basically what they do. Like,
you know what? I can't hate on that specific element of it. Personally, I do not support Brad Pitt in anything, obviously. I would be willing to stream it illegally, but I'm also like the whole the first scene they released being like they're fast on the straights, so we need to be fast in the corners. So a high downforce setup is what they're talking about. And she's like, I don't know how I can make that safe. His race engineer, by the by.
no. By the way, that wasn't the quote. The quote was, they're fast in the straights and in the corners.
Okay, so how does that make sense? I don't. Whatever. But
I remember you making that exact face in a video. Okay.
Yeah. And no, my real beef with like my actual beef with the movie is that um the only time women are prominently featured is like the mechanic that fucks up and everyone laughs at her and is like, "Oh, you're a girl, like you screwed up." And like sure she like redeems herself in the end, but like I don't know. Is that really the best plot line you can give us? And then like Brad Pitt's romantic interest, which like I do think reinforces harmful stereotypes about like the very real and alive women that work in Formula One.
So here's my thing with all of this. Okay. I just have them be. No, the thing is, you don't have a good car, which is why they have to commit all kinds of crimes to even get close to a win.
Crash Gate every race is funny. I have to tip my cap on that one.
Is that if you want a fictional story, there are like 4,000 interesting character studies you could pick. Right?
Right.
And you've just like simply chosen the dumbest plot line possible. Because like I have like told you this privately. I am in the process of writing an F1 book.
No, and I just think that it's
oh wow, so I'm not allowed to tell the people about my book. Wow, fuck me, I guess.
Sorry. I'm just saying that this is Brad Pitt self-insert fanfic.
Well, yeah, of course. But it's a terrible plot. Like the premise that I sort of settled on was, what if a sort of like Ollie Behrman-esque character, like very obviously going to be the next Ferrari star, who is supposed to be going into a feeder team. What if one of the drivers has a crash that's like bad enough to end his career, like a really bad crash, and he has to get elevated into Ferrari as a rookie? And what happens if that driver's gay?
Yeah, but you don't even need to go push it that. I mean, Brad Pitt, I fear, was never making a culturally poignant movie in that.
No, but like there are 1,000 ideas that could be interesting. Make any of them.
Right.
Don't make Top Gun Maverick but cars.
Yeah. I will say, I feel like it was very like they should have. Here's the thing, my Rush takes. Like they just make Rush 2 and 3. That's all you need to do.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Just make like you could also just do like real life stories.
And my thing is that there are so many great both big and small F1 stories to tell that if you are going to go for your own plot line, I fear that it needs to be a little bit better than what we got.
It needs to be mine.
Right.
That's the real answer.
I support you. Universal Studios.
Apple gives me $300 million to make my what if a Canadian teenager got outed by kissing his boyfriend in Montreal the weekend of the Canadian Grand Prix, and then goes on to win the race.
That would be a way better movie. I will give it to you there. I'm screenshotting that.
There's a great scene in like the second, or there's an interesting scene at the end of the first chapter, and it's just the like, it's the established Ferrari driver being like, look, I'm in a title race. Respectfully, you're not. I want to win. They want to fire you. I'll back you as long as you don't fuck me on track. Okay?
Yeah.
You play the Team Warriors game for me. I will keep you in a seat. Do we have a deal? Great, let's go.
Right.
And then you have a premise, which is you're cheering for the one guy needs to win the championship. The other guy you can do the relationship stuff with. You have this on track thing of like team orders are going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Because it's a good competitive title race, and we get Italians being homophobic. Great plot.
Loki, the most unrealistic part of that plot is having a good title race.
Ferrari and Mercedes title race is what I've decided.
The dream. The dream. No, they're so.
Because I did definitely just like loosely like fit all of the characters as like real life F1 people, except like none of them are the same as their real life equivalent, like in terms of personality. But like
it's just easier to slot them in like that than come up with 20 people. But also, what people are like, I also love how people like re-e the F1 movie are like for some reason like the hardo F1 dude bros like love this movie, and which is kind of strange to me because I feel like it's like not a super like technically accurate whatever, but they I feel like they're like, oh, like I'm just watching it for the racing, and I'm like, okay, first of all, you could just go watch the entire archive of real races. But to be fair, I've only seen like limited clips of the racing, but never once when watching like a thrilling F1 on track battle have I been like, you know what I wish right now? I wish I was staring at this person's face through their helmet and couldn't see any of the actual racing that was happening.
So I think that is actually a function of like watching it on your phone. My understanding is that you actually do see better, like the theatrical experience.
Yeah,
you do actually see the cars coming at you.
Okay. Fair enough.
But like, again, no, it's just Top Gun Maverick, but cars instead of planes. Okay, that's all it is.
Yeah, it is. What's your TikTok app, Evan? What? Someone said he doesn't make TikToks. I've tried. Trust me.
No, I do not put my face on camera if I can avoid it. I am a ugly, ugly man.
That hasn't stopped half of the F1 commentators out there. I just would like to say that. But they
I don't know. I'll soft announce this. I am starting, like, I am getting my shit together and actually starting a sports blog. I also have like 5 pieces I need to write for your website.
Yes. Well, also, I feel like people don't know your real job is being a Canadian political reporter. Like, this is not.
No, that's not even my real job. My real job is something else. The thing that most people know me for is I have a Twitter account. My main Twitter account, my only Twitter account is. Like, I have like 12,700 followers, 12,600, 12,700, something like that.
Yeah, you beef with Justin Trudeau staffers and members of Canadian Parliament on Twitter. That's basically, to me, that's your job. It's just.
I may or may not have accidentally tweeted and colonized my way into being, like, secretly, like, the most important person on the Canadian left that most normal people haven't heard of.
Hell yeah.
It's like slightly horrifying.
My favorite thing is when a staff member of like a very important Canadian elected official called you a Russian spy. That was my favorite era of your Twitter, is when you were a Russian asset there for like 3 months.
No, they couldn't decide whether I was a Russian asset or an Indian asset.
I would rather be an Indian asset personally. I feel like you're less likely to end up in pieces. But that was the funniest era for me, because like my whole like Formula whatever timeline is like nothing like serious. It's all like it would be like Lewis and Charles and Carlos fans like telling each other to kill themselves. And then it would be like, oh, like Nico Rosberg clip, like shirtless, like Charles photo, and then it would be you being like, if I were working for the Russian government. Oh, and I'm like, what's going on over there? I'm like trying to follow the back all of the quote tweets. Like,
Well, that's the other thing is I fight it almost exclusively in quote tweet because it's more fun.
oh yeah, oh yeah. That's how you know it's a real fight is when you're quote tweeting each other. That's like a little quote tweeting is shadier than a reply. I'll stand on that. And
Well, yeah, of course.
I say that as a quote tweeter myself.
Yeah,
I
but like I did well because the thing is like Justin Trudeau was like was going full Joe Biden, refusing to drop out, and we were going to lose by 1 billion points. And I felt like I was going crazy because all of these fucking professional strategist staffers were like, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine, and I am out here being like, guys, we're down 25 points to Marco Rubio with less charisma.
that is actually the most devastating insult I've ever heard, potentially.
Right. And so I was like, could we maybe do literally anything about this? Could we just contemplate doing something about this? Could we have a conversation about having a conversation about doing something about this? And yes,
No.
I was like straight up called a foreign agent repeatedly.
Yeah. Well, the same thing happened here with Joe Biden. It was like he got up there and called fucking Volodymyr Zelensky Putin, and everyone was like, "This is fine," and I was like, "Is it?"
Yeah, but imagine if 3 times in the span of 6 months, Democrats lost congressional districts that voted for Kamala Harris by 25 points.
That would be bad.
And then the collective response to that was, well, we only lost it by 500 votes.
Yeah, that's actually not how that works at all. Okay, but I gotta go. It is 2 p.m. and I have to be a person today.
So yeah.
You were right about Justin Trudeau in the end, though. The minute I heard that news, I thought about you. I was like, he did it.
Like senior cabinet ministers like have told people like, oh yeah, no, Scrimshaw was greatly helpful in getting Trudeau the fuck out of here.
Yes, yes. That was crazy. I was like, oh my god, he did it. Oh, all right. Farewell. All right, and this.